We'll do it live.
Okay.
No. We'll do it live. Fuck it.
We are what you made us. Exactly. So what's the big deal? 5 or 6 people get killed, and you all freak out and put it on us, and we're just reflecting you back at yourself.
Is the Tate LaBianca
Had you let us put on a defense, we could have explained to you why it happened.
radio program.
Broadcasting from the Star City of the South in Roanoke, Virginia, you are listening live to the Tate LaBianca radio program. Good evening, TL Beers. I'm Brian Davis alongside Tana Laufenberg as the Dr. Peppers are cracking along with the double shots in the Grande Black. And yes, we are back to bring you the radio program which pursues the interest, the oddities, and the truth of the Tate LaBianca murders. And please welcome in my co-host and yours. She is Tana Laufenberg. Tana, how are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Good to hear you back here. I know last week we took the week off, so it seemed like forever sometimes when you take just 1 week and you come back and it's like, where have we been, man? What's happened? I feel like Dorothy going back to Kansas or something, right?
I know. I feel like it's the first time we've ever done a show.
Right. It does. It seems like...
I mean a program.
Program. Yeah, it's not a show, of
program.
course. Anyway, if you don't know, Tana Laufenberg is the author of the upcoming book, The Defense Never Rested, Charles Manson on Trial. And, of course, that's what we do our program here each and every Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, based upon that book, because that book is based upon the trial transcripts, which has never been written before. And the book due out on November 7th in the ebook Kindle form. And, yes. Tana, that's just down the road here. I mean, we're talking about, what, within a week here?
Yep, we're right there.
So you've got to be excited, I would think.
I don't know. I'm too busy to be excited.
By golly, I would be, but that's just me. See, I've never been able to write. I couldn't do a book if I tried. I mean, literally, I couldn't write I wouldn't be able to author a coloring book.
Well, if you were to write a book, this would be the kind of book to write because you're basically just using the trial transcript to tell the story that hasn't been told.
That's right. I like that too. You're letting the actual record tell the story.
Right.
And that's
because I'm not an author. Okay, I'm not an author.
Well, you're putting it together. You're kind of you're an author. You will be. This is an author. You are an author.
I'll be an author, but not a writer. How about that?
Okay, we'll take that.
Right,
but you could be either or and are all the above. So I'm excited about that. By the way, you can get the book now. We did this the other, I guess, 2 or 3 weeks ago. We put the book on a special price through the release of the ebook. So you can go, and I'm not sure. I think we have let me double check here. I think we have the Amazon link in our.
You better have it.
I think we got it. Yes, we do. We have the Amazon link here on the YouTube channel right now in the description, I believe. Again, you can get it for this is for the people. We did this for the TL Beers.
Right.
$5.33 because of the night that we introduced the book, at least a chapter of it. I can't believe this, but we stayed on for 5 hours and 33 minutes.
Yep.
So we decided...
A marathon.
It was the marathon. And it wasn't planned, but it happened. And therefore, Tana decided let's do a listener appreciation price. And let's knock it down to $5.33. And even I was like, what? No, I want to do that, she said. I said, okay. So... there you go. If you get over there now to Kindle, to Kindle, to the Amazon, to the link on the description page here, on our YouTube channel, you'll see the link, and you can pre-order it now, and it will be delivered to you on the 7th, which will be Saturday, this upcoming Saturday.
And the paperback will be following shortly.
Yes, the paperback will be coming on the heels of that at some point.
Right.
As she said, shortly. I guess it'll depend on when they decide that, but it will be there. And so you'll have that's the good thing about the $5.33, Tana. I like because, well, I didn't at first, but now I get it, and I like that because now that's so affordable that they can get the ebook copy, the Kindle, if they don't want to wait for the paperback, if they're like me and impatient, you can get the Kindle, and then you can also afford the paperback probably. So you're not really spending that much to get the Kindle just to see what it's about. And then if you really like it, you can get the paperback as well. So that's a nice price there to start things out, right?
You're impatient?
Not me. Well, I've been told.
I'm stuck back on you're impatient because that's where my attention goes.
I've been told. I don't know. That's just what they say. Hope everybody got their clock set back an hour. Did you get your clock set back? I guess you did, Tana. You're on time.
If I didn't, I think we would be having a different conversation right now.
Yeah. It would be one-sided as well, I think, too.
Yes.
What the fuck are you doing?
Yep.
All righty then. Well, thanks everybody for joining us tonight. I'm excited to a degree here. I mean, if you can be. I mean, it's never exciting to really talk about murders and stuff, but I'm excited about what we've got in store planned here tonight. We are going to bring you tonight new information. Well, it's not new. I mean, all of this stuff has been there for 50 plus years. The problem is the district attorney, Vince Bugliosi, suppressed a lot of it, most of it, the truth of it. So it's been there. So I don't want to say we're going to bring you new stuff as in, oh, we've just found new stuff that was just added, but we have discovered new information about the crime scene at Cielo Drive, I think. And it's a pretty big deal for me anyway, or for Tana and I think it will be for you when we get into this. And I have to give credit where credit due. Our great co-host, author, Tana Laufenberg, her hawkeye, her eagle eye, spotted this. And I think together we spotted it originally. But you are the one, Tana, that put this together the other night.
We kind of passed over it as just like an anomaly.
Yes.
You know? Yes,
right. We did. We looked at this for a moment and we were like, what is this? And I even posted it in our Facebook group, the Helter Skelter Forum, which if you go to Facebook and search Helter Skelter Forum, you'll find the group. If you want to join the group, come on in, and I'll get you in. Don't come in our group, though, and start. It's like so many people do, because it irritates the hell out of me. And I sometimes don't play well with others.
What did they do that annoys you? I have to know.
Well, a lot of I know you're not even in the group, but a lot of times people will come into the group and immediately they think they know the case, and the rest of us do not.
Oh,
like
okay.
we just started the group last week and we don't know what we're doing. So thank you for gracing our presence. And they'll come in and they'll make some post like we don't know, and they know everything, and boom, it just starts out bad.
But they have good intentions, I'm sure, right?
I would think so, maybe. But to me, I look at it as the audacity of these people to come in and just assume that they know everything and we know nothing, and they post something or they'll say something that is like, no. And I'm not one, I don't think, to put myself over as much as, I could or should. Maybe, I don't know. So maybe part of that's my fault because I don't.
You are pretty humble, okay? I mean, when you think about everything that you've done in this case, the fact that you're not like screaming it from the rooftops is pretty amazing, because a lot of people would be. I
appreciate that. Let me ask you something honestly. If some people, certain people, even I don't know, I'm not directing this to anyone, but a lot of people in general, if they knew the information in the depth that we know it, or have I guess accomplished, for lack of a better word, maybe, I don't even know how to say this. I'm trying not to put myself over right now, but if they know what we know and have accomplished what we've accomplished or I've accomplished,
if they have walked down the road that we have already walked in this case, how about that? If they had already walked down that road.
Think of how they would be putting themselves over. Most people have a tendency to brag about themselves, really, right? And
yeah, they do.
I think that I mean, maybe it's because we don't or I don't. So people come in the group and they go, oh, they don't know what they're talking about here, or they don't know this. They must not know this. I'll just fill them in on that. And, it just starts off bad. So if you want to come in our group, you're welcome. But just kind of, ease in, stick your feet in the water to test it out first a little bit. Don't come in with that attitude or whatnot. And I think we'll be fine. But if you come in with this, I just went through this weekend, and I don't want to call out any names, but God forbid they think I'm bullying them or something for calling them out. But certain people come in this weekend already trying to talk about this boat in the driveway thing. And I'm not trying.
Oh my God!
I'm not trying to start nothing. Okay, I'm not. I'm just saying I'm using this. They come in with this boat in the driveway thing, and they say, it's been. And it just drives me crazy. They say, I guess I blew that. She says, it's been testified, direct testimony, that the kids on the, I'm verbatim telling you this. The kids on the boat ride that day testified that Lino parked the boat in the street. Okay. And then says to me, think smart, Brian. Okay. Now, naturally, that's not going to go over well with me.
Yeah.
And it didn't.
I'm already putting my head down as you're reading this. Like, I know what's coming.
Well, it didn't, okay? It didn't go over too well. First of all, I had to straighten around. And again, they don't even address this part of it, right? They gloss right. They ignore it. There were no kids, number one. It's impossible to testify to that if you're a kid. Number one, there were no kids. There was one kid. There was one underage child there, 16-year-old or 15, I guess 16, 15-year-old Frank Jr., right? Mm-hmm. And if that person happens to be listening right now, I want you to know, nobody was there with Lino when he pulls the boat in the driveway that night. Nobody.
Yeah, on the street.
The only one that was with him was his wife. Okay? Rosemary.
When he parked on the street.
So when they pulled in the driveway, there's no way anyone could testify to that.
Because it didn't happen, because he parked on the street.
Because they weren't there, and the victims, the ones that parked the car there in the driveway, are dead. Okay? So it didn't happen the way you think it happened, ma'am, wherever you're at. Again, there's it's just impossible. And then
at least she's right about the location that they parked.
And then they got into this other, and they're going to come into play here in just a little while again, because that wasn't enough for them. They had to flex themselves on one of our topics tonight that we're going to get into.
Uh-oh.
The blood on the front porch.
Oh, no.
Because, by God, they were an expert on that, too. So, I'm just saying, folks, kids, TLBers, groupies, everybody in the whole damn world, let me just say this. We've been doing this a long time, especially myself. And I'm just going to say this at the risk of sounding like I'm putting myself over. I don't give a damn. You're going to be hard-pressed, and you don't have to like me. I hope you don't like me, actually. You know why?
I don't like you.
I'm glad. I hope you do not. Good. Because I'll say this. If you don't like me and you're still listening to my program here, our program, Tana and I's program, myself, if you're still listening to this and you don't like me, guess what? That tells me how damn good we are. Because
it just means they like me, Brian. Come on. It means they like me.
We know that, though. They love you. By the way, when's that My Fans Only page going up?
You asking me that?
Yeah, that's what they want now. They want the My Fans Only page. That's how. I mean, you've got you have, and you didn't even put yourself over, but I don't know. You're just yourself naturally just did it, I guess. You have the fan club. Me, they hate my guts. But I like that. You know why I like that? Because I like to be the heel. You know that.
I do know that.
I mean, I like it because I am. So, like me or not, you'll be hard-pressed to find anyone in the world, you understand, in the world, on this planet, that knows this case, that can present this case, better than myself, and now better than myself and my co-host and author, Tana Laufenberg. You'll be hard-pressed.
That's right.
I'm not saying we're the best, but we are the best.
We're smart, okay? I'm sure there's a lot of smart people out there, though.
Let me tell you something, and I was kind of kidding there a little bit about, we're the best and all that, but seriously, there are a lot of really smart people about this case. I know this for a fact.
Yeah.
Because when I got into this, right, when I seriously got into this in 2005, that's how long I've been in it now, 15 solid years, man. And when I got into this, there were people that knew some of this stuff, right? That I didn't know about the Rostow angle and the drug. I mean, I didn't know any of that. And they did. They already knew that. I don't know where they're at now. Maybe they've passed on. Maybe they got out of it. I don't know. But I know they exist or existed. So, and when I did get into this, I didn't just come into the blogs and the websites and start posting, hey, what about this and what about that? And I know this, and I would not do anything. I think it was like literally 5 or 6 months before I made my first post, because I knew that I didn't know anything compared to the people that were already posting and talking about it, right? I knew that. They don't do that nowadays. They don't do that. They come right in bold as hell and,
I don't mind them being bold as hell as long as they come with their evidence. That's perfect. If they got something that's way off the wall, I love that, as long as they can back it up somehow, right? Then that's good.
Well, I think that's what separates us, you and I, from a lot of people. We literally, I think, are right down the middle. We're objective on this thing.
Yeah.
And I know myself, and I'm pretty sure you're, from what I've always known about you, you're like me. You don't have a real emotional side in this thing.
Well, I get that way a little bit here and there, but yeah.
And I mean, it's objective. And I've said this a million times, so I'll say it 1,000,001. If I find any evidence that there was a conspiracy, I mean, that Manson was part of a conspiracy or ordered the murders or anything, if I find any evidence like that, I'd be the first one to go, folks, I got it wrong. I'm now finding evidence that there was a conspiracy and Charlie did order the murders. I'll say that.
And I'll be right there with you.
And she will. Tana will be right there with me. Yep. And I promise you that. So I just wanted to get that out of the way and clarify all of that, because I don't
feel better. You feel better.
Well, I do. I just, because you never know who's listening, and if they're deciding, well, I might want to join that group and tell them what the fuck is going on with this case, right? And tell them what's what. No, I better not now, because this guy just said don't do it. I better keep quiet. But that's what determines kind of like these little ins and outs that we get into or that I get into with these people, is that they come in with such attitude when it's either they're wrong or they're not right, or they're just total arrogance that not need be.
Well, you were like that with me when I came in. When I first had that conversation with you, you made it perfectly clear that if I didn't back my shit up, you were going to roast me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, well, here's the thing, and I did say that, and I will. There's so many things in this case that are, I guess, rumor and innuendo, or not facts. And a lot of that, believe me, was put out there by Bugs himself, the DA, the District Attorney Vince Bugliosi.
On purpose.
I think on purpose, absolutely on purpose.
Yeah.
And so many people put that out there. You go, well, wait a minute. And I can't go correct every damn thing, but some things I just know, have never been proven, but sometimes we think they are the fact. Now, a lot of times when we go through this case, even by accident, you and I will be able, we come up on things that we are able to disprove, right? Well, that never really happened.
Yep.
So there's all of that we kind of wade through as we head to, try to pick apart and get to the bottom of this case, right? So I'm just saying, man, if you want to join our group, go to the Helter Skelter forum and join, but, blend in nicely or incognito, whatever you want to call it. Just blend in. Don't freaking come bowling in there like a bull in the proverbial china closet. It will not work.
Unless you bring your evidence, then they're fine.
That's fine. Yeah, if you want to come in and go, hey, I'm telling you, and here's where I get this from. I love people that source things, right? That's a big deal to me.
Yep.
And I think that's what we do, a lot of.
Yep. All the difference in the world.
Right. most of the time, I don't know. In fact, I don't want to say all, I guess, because I guess sometimes you can get me, but I guess 99.9% of the time, if you ask me, well, where'd you get that from, Brian? I'll bring something to you. I'll bring the police report. I'll bring the autopsy. I'll bring the freaking trial transcripts. I'll bring something, a quote out of a book. I've got sources, man. I just don't make this stuff up.
Just like what happened with Paul Watkins and the Esalen Institute that we just went through a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
We posted the
part of the transcripts because you made the claim that Paul Watkins worked at the Esalen Institute, and a lot of people had never heard that before. And what did we do? We posted the part of the transcript where he was questioned on the stand, and he admitted, yes, he worked at the Esalen, correct?
Right.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
So these are not just rules for other people. These are rules on like how we do
follow
all of it.
our own damn rules. Yes, we do. We follow our own damn rules. Okay. All right. Except for one, and we're going to try to follow that tonight. And that is, when we started this thing, we said, okay, our programs will go an hour per week, right? Maybe a little bit more. Remember that?
And then an hour and a half tops.
Hour and a half tops, right? That's what we said.
Yeah.
And what happens? We're doing 3, 4 hour, 5 hour, 5.5 hour programs every week, right? And we just, come on, man, that's too much. I can't do it. We can't do it. We don't have that much time, really.
No, we don't.
So we're going to try to keep this thing and start getting this thing down to, somewhere between an hour and a half starting tonight. And I don't think we're going to be able to do it even tonight. We'll try.
No, we're not.
We might get it within 90, but I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, we do have some new information, some newly discovered information, I should say, about this Cielo scene we're going to get into here in just a little bit. But let's start things off with our news and notes and start checking out some miscellaneous information to kind of get into. I'm going to pick all that apart first.
TLB Radio.
To the bottom, I go back to the top of the slide. Where I stop and I turn and I go through right. Till I get to the bottom and I see you again.
News and notes.
Alrighty then. First thing I want to get into, Tana, this is pretty interesting. I like this. And I didn't, first of all, I've always thought this, but now I'm seeing other people pick up on it. So it's really great because they're picking up on it on their own. A lot of people in our Facebook group have started to talk about this. And I'm talking about these incredible dramatic lines that you are familiar with throughout this story. These lines that sound like something out of a movie that you might see by, I don't know, Quentin Tarantino or somebody, right? Like Tex walks in and, I'm the devil. I'm here to do the devil's business, right? Or Charlie Manson down there at the beach with the police officers. Don't you know who I am?
Oh, yeah.
All of these crazy,
That's my favorite.
These lines, right? Or maybe, how does the victim, by God, think about this now. You're being stabbed to death, right? I know that's hard to imagine, but try to imagine this. So somebody's stabbing you to death, but you have the presence of mind to go, stop, I'm dead, man, I'm dead, stop it, stop. Okay, you can stop now, I'm dead, right? Who says that? I hear murder cases all the time. I read up on murder cases all the time. I don't know if I've ever heard a story where a murder victim says, stop, I'm already dead, dude, you can stop stabbing me now.
On TV.
Yeah, there you go. Blue Bloods or something, right?
Yep, or in the movies, yeah.
Or in the movies. So this case is kind of filled with those type of lines, right? Like you go, wait a minute, they really said that? I don't know, man. And I don't think so, half of them. I really don't. I really don't think half these lines that were supposedly said were said. I question the dialogue. You've got to understand that Vince Bugliosi took both these people out, Linda and Susan. That's right. Not just Linda. We know she took Linda out. That's always been kind of publicized, I guess, that Bugs took Linda Kasabian out of the prison, out of the jail, took her around to all of the sites of the crime, the scene, the crime scenes, and anything that had to do with the murders for both nights, and got Linda to tell him exactly, walk him through it and tell him exactly what happened, when, where, and what?
Or do you mean that he walked her around and told her?
Well, yeah, right. That's what ended up happening.
Yeah.
And then not only, before he did that, he took Susan Atkins out and did the same thing. Because Susan was the first one, right, to get this deal. Now, and I need to clarify this because some people believe this. Susan Atkins was never offered immunity like Linda. Susan was offered life in prison and the death penalty taken off the table, which, by the way, what a ripoff that would have been, right? Like, she would have agreed to that, and then it ended up they took the death penalty off anyway, right, in California.
Well, it also here's something that I think is important though. In the penalty phase, it comes out that her attorneys told her that in exchange for her testimony, that none of them would get the death penalty.
Yeah, my point though is they took the death penalty off the table anyway. So
that's
what?
Really not a deal.
What would they have won?
Well,
nothing.
Yeah, you have a point. Yeah.
But anyway, so Bugs did that. You guys see what I'm saying? Bugs took them around, and they're telling him the story, and he's shifting it the way he wants it. I'm telling you, this is what happened. And we'll present this down the road in some other programs in the future, but we have stumbled onto some notes, handwritten notes by Bugs, that you can clearly see. He'll take a piece of this information and apply it over here to this scenario, and all of a sudden you got a whole new scenario.
Yep.
So people ask me all the time, well, why in the hell would all of these people agree with the prosecution? The people being the killers, why would they agree with the prosecution? Why do they have the same story? How come they've never come out with the truth all of these years, right? And I can't tell you why crazy people do crazy things. I don't know. That's just what they do. But you can almost think, well, let me ask you people this, and I haven't forgotten our original thing here. Let me ask the TLBers this. If you're in for murder for forever, for life, or whatever they give you, and they tell you, well, you're going to get a chance of parole. You're going to get a chance to have a parole hearing and get paroled. Okay, we're going to give you that. And the parole board says to you, we don't accept anything except the official narrative or the official record here in the hearing. We don't accept anything else. And you know that with the official narrative in place, as is, as ludicrous as it is, ridiculous as it is, you know that, hey, with that story, they're still going to give me a chance for parole, right? Not only are they going to give me a chance, but, oh, by God, they're actually giving me a recommendation now. They're actually giving me a parole recommendation after 40, 50 years of this shit. I'm finally getting a recommendation because Leslie's got it. What? I don't even know how many recommendations she's gotten now. It's like every time she goes up for parole now, she gets recommended, right?
Right.
Would you dare, after all of this time, and you think, and imagine this now, you're going to be getting out maybe, right? You've got a good chance because you're actually getting to the point of the parole board is finally giving you a recommendation with the official narrative in place. Are you going to fuck with that? Are you really going to fuck with that? Are you going to get up there finally after 40 years of you, and in the next parole hearing you have, you're going to, wait a minute, guys. I appreciate the recommendation last time, but let me tell you what really happened. The guy was out on the front porch and, right? Are you going to do that? I wouldn't. If it were me, if that's what they want to believe and I'm getting a parole recommendation, by God, yeah, it happened just like the prosecutor said. Right?
Well, especially if they feel like they didn't believe the truth in the first place. Anyway, what's the difference at that point?
Right. So that's my point there. That's one reason, anyway, they could possibly still be hanging on to this official narrative. I'm just throwing out a suggestion. I don't even know if that's why they do it. But my point is there's reason why they do it. I don't know why. but they do it. They just do it. One thing I do know, the facts of this case do not support the official narrative. The science, the forensics, it does not support the official narrative. The crime scene, none of it. And I can't help it. I don't have the answer why they say what they say and stick to what they stick to, but I know what this facts tell me. I know what this case tells me. And I'm not going to dismiss these facts. Because
doesn't it almost seem as though sometimes their story is too similar to where that even makes it sound like it's kind of not true? You know, they say that everybody remembers something from their own perspective, but yet it seems like everybody's remembering things from one perspective and one perspective only.
Well, you got that working, yes. And then, let's be honest, man. Once you are in something for so long and so many years, you start believing it maybe yourself, right?
Yeah, you're influenced.
And after a while, you're so resigned to that, you just go, okay, that's the way it happened. So 10, 15, 20 years later, you really don't even know what really happened anymore. I think Pat Krenwinkel's an example of that.
Right. At least she admits that.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, I want to get back to this, though, with the blood on the front porch. Me anyway, I've always felt like, since Jay's blood type, specifically OMN, is on the porch there, near the bushes. We'll hit that right now. Let's get to that exhibit number 94. Since his blood is in the, or on the porch there, there we go. One thing that has puzzled me, and I believe Jay was laying right there. I've always felt that way. Even before we showed that picture with Jay superimposed over it, I could always see in my mind somebody laying there, like in a fetal position almost, right, with the knees up. And I just always saw that. And then when you and I were talking about at that time that we actually superimposed the picture of Jay from the inside over on that, it fit almost like the proverbial glove, right?
Well, I wouldn't say that's how it happened, but yes, okay.
What do you mean that's not how? Well, tell the people how it happened, and I don't want to be a liar.
Well, I thought you were crazy. I mean, I saw it, but I didn't see it, okay? I didn't, and that's another one where I was fact-checking you. I thought you were crazy on this one. I did, until I started looking around at these photos, and I looked around at the facts, and I saw the blood type. I looked at the blood map, and sure enough, there you were, right there, and I actually put that picture over that to try to prove you wrong, but it didn't work out that way because it was like it was like playing Tetris. Okay, it was like playing Tetris. It was like tilt it this way and bam, there you go. So
I like that. Trying to prove me crazy. Well, first of all,
I was trying to prove you crazy.
That's not hard to do.
I'd never heard about that before. Like, okay, if Jay Sebring was killed on the porch, of course you would have heard about that. That's what I thought.
I am crazy. First of all, I am crazy. You're right about that. But nonetheless, that's nor here nor there.
But you were right. You were right. So.
I believe I was. And now I feel not only was I right, I'm 100% convinced that I was right. 100% convinced, because we just came across this a couple days ago in one of the boxes, I guess, I guess something, and again, Bo Emerson at CieloDrive.com. I can't be more appreciative of anyone in this case than him. It's amazing the stuff that he is, that he has over there, that he has provided us. It's amazing. And this is one of them right here. He's got the goods. Bo Emerson, CieloDrive.com. Amazing website, amazing person, shares all of this stuff with us. Gets very little credit, actually. We all know he's great, but he really doesn't get enough credit. That he deserves. But this picture from CieloDrive.com. The police is or the detective here is who made this notations on this picture. Notice the OMN. That's Jay's blood type. And he writes that there on the circle, and circles that right there because that's all Jay's blood. And then you see the arrow, right? The blue arrow. Because one of the questions that's always bothered me, even though I've known this is Jay laying there, is how much blood is that? It's the dimensions of the blood, okay? Because it's a big deal. If it's not that much blood, maybe as much as I think it is, then maybe he just kind of, bled a little blood there. He wasn't really laying there. I don't know, right? But no. I always was wondering about the dimensions, how much. And this guy, this police officer, is the one that, this detective, I guess, is the one that has put that to rest now. Because he took and he measures this blue line, basically. He draws this blue line, first of all, and they said, in the trial. Now, he testified on trial, the police officer, and I believe we're going to show this testimony here, if I can. Mm-hmm. See if I can pull this up. But he testifies that blue line, or that area, let's see if I can find that, 8626 here. He testifies that area is about 3 to 4 feet. Okay? And this is another area. Remember the woman, the person I was telling you about a little while ago, that I didn't want to mention any names. I didn't want to call her out. So I posted this in the group the other day, in our Facebook group, and I said, look here, I'm now convinced. I used to be a little bit, just a little questionable about my own decision, because I'm thinking, well, maybe I'm a little off. If I'm wrong, maybe it's because I don't know, how much blood was actually there. And then when I saw this, I posted this. I said, I'm no longer questioning my own theory here. I believe Jay was there, laying right there. 100% now, I'm convinced. Because of this picture right here, and because this detective actually said, I measured, I estimated the length there, it's about 3 to 4 feet, and that's plenty of room for someone to be laying there. Plenty of room, especially for someone like Jay. Jay was not that big. I was surprised how small of a man he was even. He's smaller than me.
He's like the size of Roman. Some people have seen that picture of Roman squatting down by the front door. They're about the same size. It becomes perfectly clear that someone that size could definitely fit in that area on the porch. There's also other angles that we've seen of the porch that give it a better dimension. There's definitely enough room there for Jay.
And I'm more convinced of that now than ever.
Now, about the position of his body, too, is that his body could have already, and I know this is really bad to, get into, but he could have already been in rigor mortis, and that's why the position of his body is similar on the porch as it is inside the house. He wasn't just like a loose body that's going to change position. He probably was rigid, I guess.
Right. That's what
God, it's such a morbid, horrible thing.
Well, it is. It's hard to talk about. I agree, but
yeah.
But I totally agree that sometimes you gotta. Here we go. Hello? Up. My channel went out again. Hey, my channel. There we go.
I can hear you.
I know, but my right channel went out. Now I got it. I fixed it back.
Okay.
We've got some old. We're old school here, people. We've got old equipment. What can I say? Try to get it done. I think I got a little hum now in my ears.
The other thing that I want to point out about the pictures, right, is that discrepancy between the amount of blood where Jay is found and where he is found on the porch. There's not enough blood to me, just my eyes. It doesn't seem to me like it looks like Jay was killed inside of the house because there's no blood. There's not enough blood or blood splatter or anything like that where he's found. But yet if you look right here on this spot, you got it all the way up that post. You got him in the bushes, all over the ground. I mean, it's a mess.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. If Jay Sebring was killed inside the house or stabbed there inside the house, like bled out there, the blood under his body would look a lot more like Sharon's blood there,
right,
on where she's laying. Now,
in the surrounding areas, right?
That's what I mean. Yes, exactly, in the surrounding areas. But in fact, it looks like the blood out on the porch is where it should be inside, right?
Yeah.
But it's not.
That's what I think.
It's on the porch there, as you can see. But I want to show this testimony here by the police, because, and again, this is where this other person that I'm talking about, when I posted this in the group the other day, she comes right out with this, I know it all, you don't know anything attitude, and there's no way that line is 4 feet. That blue line is not 4 feet, blah, 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 okay? And if it's not, okay, maybe it's off a foot or two. I don't know. But my point is, and she's playing semantics here, because my point is, the police officer here testified, which I'm going to show this momentarily, where he testified in court, just to back up what I'm saying. And if he's off a foot or two, so what? The point is, it's enough there that somebody could be laying there. That's my point. And if you're going to start calling me out one, well, yeah, there's no way that's 4 feet. Well, maybe it's not exactly 4 feet, but if it's 3 feet, that's enough. If it's 5 feet, that's enough.
And he's testifying to the size of the general area. I know at one point he says it could be 3, 4, 5 feet right there, but it's definitely enough for a human body to have been laying there.
Thank you. Absolutely correct. And that's what he's testifying to, the general area, okay? And so when I said, that line's 3, the officer testified that line is 4 feet. It's that area right there. That's area of the blood. That's what I'm talking about. And let's go to the testimony right here. Just to back our asses up a little bit here. Let me get this here. Okay. All right, let's go to the testimony right here and show you exactly what we're talking about. Now, right here it is. They're on the stand with this officer. And, whoa, here we go. And I guess I'm thinking it's Caneric here that's, or maybe, no, it's maybe Mr. I'm trying to figure this. I think it's Mr. Caneric here that's talking, I think.
Manson's lawyer, yeah.
Yeah, Manson's attorney. So they're talking about here, you can see where they're talking about exhibit number 94. That's this exact picture that we have right here. Okay, that we were just talking about. Here it is, this exhibit 94. You can see the 94 at the lower right-hand corner. So that's what they're talking about here. In the transcript here, exhibit number 94.
Yep, at the bottom of the page. Yep.
Yes. Okay. So let's go back here for a moment. And we will bring this up again. And you guys can look at this along with me. I hope everybody can see this, by the way. I'm assuming that we can. This is exhibit number 94. Answer, yes, sir. Would you hold that photograph? Would you hold that photograph, please? And answer, yes. Now, directing your attention to what appears to be, is that concrete? Yes, that is concrete. Or flagstone, I believe it's called. Flagstaff, he says. Okay. Mm-hmm. Flagstone, he says it is. So they talk about when you first saw that area, what was in the area, and what you call the concrete or flagstone area. And he's asking, what was in the area? Yes, in relation to people or... And again, this is Caneric. Oh, my God. Can you imagine going... And I've got a lot of respect for Mr. Caneric now after reading these transcripts. I really do. But, wow.
Sometimes it's painful,
It
right?
is literally hurts the head, man, to keep up with this guy. And this is one of those times. So the guy answers, well, the pool of blood was there, the splatters, the bush which had been broken, and that was it. And I like the way he termed this because he separates it a little bit. The pool of blood and then the splatters. So there's a difference, and that's important because the pool of blood is where he bled out at. The splatters is just from the fight that they got into. Yeah. And there was a violent fight between Tex and Jay Sebring. There's a violent fight. And I think in Jay Sebring's documentary, I have not seen it, but as I've understood now, people that have seen it, people who have seen it, said that Jay's hands, his knuckles, were cut pretty bad. Did you see that?
Good for him. Good for him, though. I didn't see it, but good for him for fighting.
Fighting. He's putting up a fight. He's not worried. He's going to fight, man. And that right away, right? That right away, right there. Just the fact that he's got those injuries to his hands. That tells you right away that the official narrative to this thing is not right.
Exactly. He's not in there laying helpless on the like
he's not
on the ground.
He's not
on the carpet.
He's not laid out or tied up there or shot or anything. He's fighting. Is what he's doing. That's what the evidence tells us. So the officer.
God, it's so good to hear that. I'm sorry, it is just so good to hear someone say that.
Yeah.
Just, yes.
I think a lot of the quite a few of the victims here fought actually.
Yeah.
Tex Watson says in his book he was surprised how strong Wojtek was. And that says a lot right there, coming from an animal that was high on speed, jacked up on speed that night.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, here's the officer, the detective talking about this. The pool of blood was there, the splatters, the bush had been broken. That is a fight that spilled over onto the front porch. And right into the bushes. It broke the bushes. And then here we go again. Kanarick talking about another picture here. And then back to right here. Can you integrate this picture, exhibit number 94, with that picture, talking about the picture of the house, exhibit 4? And I think that's just like a overall look at the house, right? Where he's trying to...
It's a diagram. It's a diagram because they didn't have proper photos of the crime scene.
Thank you.
I guess.
Thank you. And the answer to that, the detective says, well, it's right there by the pole, which you can see that. And then he says, right where the X is, with the circle around it. So let's go back to this picture again. And you can clearly see where the circle, I guess they're not going to let me put my cursor there. I can't get the cursor there. Okay. Well, there is a circle there by the edge of the side, the edge of the porch and the bushes, right? That's what he's talking about. The circle right there. And then he draws that line on out. So let me go back to the transcript. Boom. And we'll go back here. Oh, okay. He's talking about, actually, let me stand corrected here. As Mr. Stovitz says. I guess that's the diagram you just talked about, Tana. The exhibit 4 diagram where he circles with the X on exhibit 4 rather than the photograph exhibit 94. Okay, so they straightened that out. So I'm going to cut through all of this, and I'm going to get to where he actually testifies of how many feet he thinks it is and so forth.
It takes forever to get there with Canary.
I mean, it really does. I mean, seriously, it's absolutely, it just literally kills me, almost. Let me get down here. He literally, I mean, he picks apart every single little, turns it upside down, turns it all around, do the hokey pokey, you know, all of that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And here it is right here. So I want to clarify this. Now, and you can see right a question. Now, directing your attention, officer, to this picture, and again, we're talking about the picture you just saw, exhibit number 94, and this area that you are speaking of, would you describe for us how far, in fact, is this area in terms of feet from, let us say, the entrance or the door of the entrance to this home? And he makes sure the answer, how far is this particular area depicted in the People's 94? Right, to the door. He says, I would state approximately 3 to 4 feet. Right there. I would state approximately 3 to 4 feet. That is this area right here, again, on this picture, area number, exhibit number 94. So instead of playing semantics and go, I'm about 4 feet 5 inches, 0.2 centimeters, right, or whatever the fuck, he's talking about the area right here and how far it is from the door, which you can't see from the picture, but the door is right. You know, if the camera panned back toward the picture or back towards us looking at the picture, it would be almost at the door there, about 4 or 5 feet.
Yeah, and your back, if you were looking at this, your back would be to the door. This isn't to the side. This is
right.
what you're looking at.
Yes.
You're on the porch and you're looking right out into the yard.
Yes, thank you. So I just wanted to bring this out because if there's any doubt or was any doubt in my mind and any doubt in anybody else's mind, it should be no longer. There is the dimensions of this blood on the front porch is more than enough, and at the least enough, for someone to have been laying there. And since we only have the OM in there, That's Jay Sebring, because nobody else, none of the other victims or killers that we know, had the same blood type as Jay. Only Jay had OMN. Okay? So that is Jay's blood. He was there, people. And I'm going to get down to this even, because people have made note of this. Well, the guy didn't subtype the blood on the bushes. He did not. You're right. The police officer did not. I don't think he would have had to. I don't think he needed to. If you look at this right here, where the bushes are broken, you see the blood. It goes right to the edge of the porch there, into the bushes, actually. So why would people think that's Frykowski's blood? It would be easier, not easier, it would be more logical to assume that it's Jay's blood or whoever was laying on that front porch, which, again, was Jay Sebring. In other words, that blood on the bushes came from where they spilled over into the bushes from the front porch there as they were fighting. They want you to think maybe it was Frykowski because for some crazy reason, the prosecutor, Bugliosi, wants you to think Frykowski. They're using Frykowski to cover up Jay on the porch for some reason.
For some reason.
Have no idea. That's the big That's the big mystery here. Why are they not just telling the truth? What would change anything? For example, if that was, Bugs could say, yes, Jay Sebring was killed on the front porch. And it would not change the helter-skelter motive theory whatsoever for him. Would it?
That we can think of. I don't know what his reasoning was. He may have had some other thing in his twisted brain that made him think that it was important.
Let me say this. The only reason that I can come up with, for whatever, and I don't even know how this ties into it, but for whatever reason, he wants it the way he wants it because I don't think he wants Linda implicated in this as bad as she may have been involved.
And she's the only one that's outside.
She's the only one.
Now, her testimony in the Tex Watson trial about that little scenario is completely different, right?
I'm glad you brought that up, Tana. Let's talk about that for a moment. Linda says one thing in the TLB1 trial, and then in the TLB2 trial, which is Tex Watson's trial, she says something completely different. So if you would, Tana, please take us through that for a second. So let's go to the first trial with the one with the Manson.
TLB1.
TLB1 with Manson and the girls. What does Linda say about what she saw?
She hears the screaming and runs towards the house from the gate, but she stops on the path as a man with blood on his face comes out and stumbles. She looks in his eyes. They have this moment of eye locking, right? Then he falls down and he gets up. And then that's pretty much where her story ends.
So a man comes out, they lock eyes, he falls down,
lock eyes,
and he gets up, and then he runs?
Runs.
And we would assume then that's Frykowski.
Right.
Okay. Keep that in mind, people. Keep that in mind. That's Frykowski. Gets up, falls down in the bushes, gets up, and runs. That puts Frykowski in the bushes, right?
Right.
What does she say months later in the second trial, Tex Watson trial, when they ask her about this very same question? What did you see there, Linda?
Well, she says that somebody came out of the house and he was stabbing someone, and she's asked, where was the man when Tex was stabbing him? Where was he in relation to the house? Answer, on the front of the house. When this man first came out of the front door, you say he fell down to his left. Answer, yes. Into some bushes, yes. Right outside the door, yes. Did he ever get up from that position? Answer, I don't remember seeing him get up. Period.
All right, now you've got same scenario here. Same scenario. They ask her in two different trials. In this particular trial, Linda says, I saw the man come out being stabbed now, fall down into the bushes, but not get up. That would be Jay Sebring. Because we know Frykowski got up, if that was the case. We know he got up, and we know he was killed on the front lawn. We know where he was found. But this trial, this particular scenario, she says she saw the man come out, go down into the bushes, and not get up. That would be Jay Sebring.
Right.
You know, the amount of discrepancy here between the two trials is unbelievable. It's unreal.
I still don't understand why we can't just have Jay falling where he fell.
Right.
I don't get it.
It's got to be something to do with Linda is the only thing I can think of. But
Yeah.
let's continue this, though. I don't think we have to be rocket scientists to put this together. She's talking about Jay Sebring and only Jay Sebring in both trials here, okay? I mean, well, she's talking about Frykowski in the first one because he took off running. But the point is, Frykowski, I don't think, ever fell into the bushes. Let's play this one out for a moment. And I'm going to use some of the official narrative here because it's all we have to go off of, and some of the official narrative is true. I think some of it. So Tex and the girls, they get inside. Tex goes over to Frykowski, wakes him up, tells him the whole bit about being the devil, whatever. I don't think that happened, but whatever. Let's go with this for a second. They get into a fight, Jay and Tex. There's obvious evidence that they got into a fight. Meanwhile,
Absolutely.
Before the fight started, though, when they got everybody out in the living room maybe or whatever they got, there is reason to believe that they had Frykowski maybe tied up, at least his hands, with a towel. Tex says he tied him up with some rope and got Susan to tie him up with a towel, his arms, his hands. If Jay and Tex are fighting and that fight spills out onto the front porch, that's the opportunity right there for Frykowski to start breaking away, trying to get away, because he's only got Susan to contend with at that moment. He breaks free of Susan, or starts to. Susan's trying to fight him, and she's flailing away with the knife, and she actually stabs Frykowski in the legs. At the same time, she's calling for help. Tex, he's getting away. Help, Tex, help. Watson comes running back in from the front porch and jumps on Frykowski. This is where Tex says, Frykowski, boy, he was a lot stronger than I thought. So Frykowski breaks away from Tex Watson and Susan, and he bolts out the front door. But he doesn't go out the front door and fall into the bushes, people. That would mean that Frykowski went out the front door, went to the left, fell into the bushes, got back up, and ran across the front lawn. If that would have happened, because he had a little bit of a head start on Tex because he broke free. And maybe when Tex jumps on him coming in from the porch, Tex drops his gun and Tex drops his knife probably. I would. If I'm jumping on somebody and I've got my hands full, I'm probably going to drop whatever I've got in my hands. Correct?
Right.
So that may have given Frykowski 1 or 2 seconds of a head start to get out the front door. And he does it. But if Frykowski gets out that front door and he goes over and falls into the bushes or trips over Jay, who's laying there, if he's in those bushes, Tex Watson is going to get him right there. That's going to give Tex enough time to recover his knife and gun and get out that front door and jump on him at the bushes, right?
Right.
So I doubt that happened. And then you've got the evidence of the autopsy. We know at least one bullet was shot at Frykowski in the back. Okay? He's got a bullet wound in his back. What does that tell me? That tells me it's likely that Frykowski ran out the front door, had just enough of a head start on Tex Watson that Watson couldn't quite catch him at that moment. So guess what he does? Yes, in the dark, raises the gun, and I think maybe he's probably 10, maybe 5 to 10 feet in front of Watson, maybe. And he's running for his life now. Remember, he's running for his life. Maybe Tex feels like he can't catch him. Whatever the reason, it's enough for Watson to just raise that gun and fire. Bam! and he gets him in the back or he gets him in the leg. For those that don't know, the autopsy report on Frykowski revealed that he was shot twice, once in the back, once in the leg. Now, one of two things has happened here. Either Tex shot him in the back on the first shot and hit him in the leg and dropped him on the second, or he shot Frykowski in the leg first and dropped him and then just went over and shot him in the back for, just to make sure. Whatever the reason, it looks to me that Frykowski ran out that front door when he had the opportunity, and Tex Watson shot him in the back as he was running. Now, I'm going to put this up here. This is the scene. This is the scene from Frykowski. Just for those that don't know, this just to give you a visual, okay? To follow me here with what I'm saying, to give you this visual. This is where Frykowski. All right, I think we're back. I think we're good.
I don't know.
I'm going to give it a few minutes.
Oh, they said in the chat that they couldn't hear you. They were buffering.
Okay, let me try this again. I think we're good now. Everybody hit the refresh. Give it a couple minutes to catch up here. Hit the refresh. It's always something, isn't
All right, we're good now. We're
okay,
good now,
thank you.
Thank you.
So there's a picture right there. This is the viewpoint from Frykowski. This is where he was found laying dead. And I want to say again, if he comes out that front door and he runs to the right here, across the lawn, if he comes out the front door and goes to the left and falls in the bushes, Tex Watson, I think, is going to catch him there, in my opinion. So he comes out the front, comes over to the right, runs this direction toward us as we're looking at the picture, and he's shot in the back. They don't want the truth out. That's why they're trying to stifle me right now. They're scared. They're afraid.
Yep.
So it makes sense more that he came out the back of the front there, runs this direction, and Tex Watson shoots him either in the leg first and drops him then, or in the back and drops him and shoots him again. I think, Tana, we were discussing this earlier. I think it's more likely the first shot got Frykowski in the leg, and then he walked over and just drilled him again in the back with another bullet.
Well, I think that's why when he jumped on him and beat him.
Yeah.
And then I think that maybe when he gave Jay that last little bullet.
Well, right. But so I think that's what he did to stop Frykowski. He shot him in the back.
Yep.
And there's no other, what other scenario would there be where he would get shot in the back? He would be running from him.
I'm kind of going with the leg shot first because they never recovered the bullet from his leg. So if he was in motion.
Yeah, I think that's what I think you're right there. Actually, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think he shot him in the first bullet, hit him in the leg and dropped him, and then the second bullet he got him in the back.
I mean, he might have even done it one right after the other.
I think he did. I think he did. I think he fired twice right there as he was running behind him and shot him in the leg, shot him in the back, and it dropped him. And Tex even says that after Frykowski went down, he went over to help Pat with Abigail. And after they killed Abigail, he looked over and he saw Frykowski still moving. So he went over and he stabbed him some more to make sure he's dead this time. And people, and let me say this too. I want to say this, put this out there. A lot of people say, oh, it was personal. Look at that. Look at how personal it was. They stabbed him 51 times, stabbed him 40 some times. It's personal. I don't know about that personal. Remember, he's geeked up on speed. He's angry. I think the whole thing started because he felt Jay and Frykowski were lying to him. I think the whole thing started because he got in the house and said, where are the drugs and where's the money, damn it? Give it up now, right? And they said, dude, the guy never showed up, meaning Joe Rostow. The guy never came back, dude. He didn't show up. And I think Tex thought that they were lying to him because Tex had it on damn good information, the damn good reliable source that there was a drug deal that went down up here tonight. My source told me, and my source was only the crime partner of the guy that came up here, of the drug dealer, Rostow, right? That was my source, Massaro. And Massaro would know. Massaro's not lying. You're lying, you little fuck, right? That's what I think. This is Tex Watson, I think. And he's getting mad. He's angry.
Total drug paranoia.
Total
right?
drug paranoia. Drug rage. Yeah. Yes, all of that, man. He's I know you're lying. Where's the fucking drugs at, motherfucker? Dude, the guy never showed up, man. There are no drugs up here. Oh, you motherfucker. So he proceeds to try to kill everybody. Imagine how mad he must have gotten when he looks over after killing Abigail and the number that he did on Frykowski, and Frykowski is still moving. It's not like it's personal, man. It's business. You motherfucker, you. He runs back over to Frykowski and just repeatedly keeps stabbing him to make sure that the guy is completely dead this time. Oh, I'm going to make sure you're dead this time, motherfucker, right? And he's just going off on him.
Or it was more like he was trying to, I think, initially control the situation. I don't think that he thought, oh, I'm going to sit here and murder all these people. I think that everything spun out of control. I'm talking about the overkill. Yeah.
Why would there be overkill? The overkill was not because it was personal. Like, I know Frykowski, and I'm going to send a personal message, and I'm going to stab you 51 times. It was simply, he was raging. He was mad. Because there's no drugs here. And I knew there would be, but now you're saying there's not, you lying motherfuckers. Now I'm going to kill all of you. Fuck you. And I'm trying, and so he goes through all of this. He shoots the guy twice. He beats him in the head with the gun, with the barrel of the gun. And by the way, let me clarify this. The gun grip, the butt of the gun grip, it had Jay's blood on it. Not Frykowski's. It did not have Frykowski's blood on the gun grip. It had Jay's blood.
The gun itself had Frykowski's blood on it.
The gun itself, the barrel.
Right.
And that comes from being beaten in the head with it. After all of that, you look over, and the guy is still dragging himself across the lawn, right? He's still moving. That would enrage the guy that's on the speed, right? That would be like, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
I just fucking killed you. I just put you under, man. Shot you twice. He beat you in the head with the gun. You're still moving? I'll make sure you don't move now, by God. He runs over and he just starts going off on him, stabbing him and stabbing him and stabbing him and stabbing him. Next thing you know, you got 51 stab wounds in you, on top of the 2 gunshots and the beating of the gun barrel. So I just wanted to throw that out there. That's my opinion, by the way. That's my opinion. I don't think it was a personal thing. It was just pure rage. I don't know how many people's ever done speed, but I'm telling you, man, they had that speed supposedly in a Gerber baby jar in powder form, and I doubt it was cut like the stuff you get today. That stuff probably was pure. Went right to the brain. So that's what I think. Go ahead.
I was going to say, we haven't even gotten into our new info yet, and this is already exciting.
No. Hey, everybody, we've still got the new information to reveal. This is just all coming from the blood here on the front porch, okay? Because now...
This is just the appetizer.
Because now I'm convinced that this blood is certainly enough blood for somebody to be laying there. Now, the dimensions of the blood have been answered for me. I am totally convinced, 100%, that blood not only is Jay's blood, but that he was actually laying there on that porch and he bled out right there, was killed right there. That's my opinion now. There's no question about that now, in my opinion. And it all goes from the whole story. That's why, not only that, but I think the blood in the bushes that you see was also Jay's blood.
Yeah.
I do not believe for 1 minute, especially as you heard the testimony of Linda a minute ago. Tana read that, and it clearly tells me Jay was on that porch, not Frykowski, They're trying to cover up Jay on that porch with Frykowski. Again, and Bugs does this throughout the whole damn story. He's playing like this shell game of things, right? Oh, who had the right knife? Who had this knife? Oh, this had this knife, and which knife is this? Oh, where's the ball at under the shell, right?
Yep.
So that's what he's doing here. He wants to confuse this thing to where you don't know if it was Frykowski or Sebring or what the fuck. But it's not.
Or it's the knife with the tape. Is it Linda's knife? Is
Exactly.
it the other knife? Is it the bayonet?
Who had what knife? Right. Is it the bayonet? Is it the knife? What the hell? But if you follow the forensics of this case, and you follow the evidence of this case, and you follow the autopsy of this case, you'll see how this played out. Jay Sebring, Tex Watson had a fight in the house. It spilled out on the front porch here, fell into the bushes. Susan is having trouble with Frykowski inside, and she calls out for Tex to help her. Tex comes back in, and Frykowski and Tex get into a fight, or a scuffle, or a rolling around on the carpet there, whatever, and Frykowski breaks free, and he comes running out the front door to the right of the house, to the back of the house towards the guest house, and he ends up right here where you see in this picture, and he was shot and brought down right here. That is likely what happened based on the evidence that I just went through with you fine people, the TLBs.
And they all fought. All of these victims fought.
All
of them did.
Yes. Thank you. And I want to thank you.
There's not enough credit given to these victims.
There's not enough credit. You're right. The official narrative makes it like they were just steamrolled, and they were, but I mean, they did fight back.
And in the end, it just wasn't enough.
How could it be?
Yeah.
They were at a disadvantage.
Complete.
God bless them.
God.
I mean it. So that, my friends, is likely what happened in the Cielo house that night. And again, that blood spot right there, that 3 to 4 foot area, 3, 4, 5 feet, the officer testified. Now, the officer said, I didn't measure it, which he should have. He should have measured it, but he didn't.
I don't think he specified that he didn't.
No, he did. It said so. I just read it.
Oh.
He said, I didn't measure it. I estimated. Well, he did. I just read it. But I have enough faith in the police officer that he probably can tell what a 4 or 5 feet distance is. I don't know anybody that couldn't, right? You've got to be, a little bit special not to be able to estimate 4 or 5 feet. So that's my opinion on that. And I wanted to bring that out there. And now I want to tie this back in. I don't know how we got off on this. I forgot to bring this back up a minute ago.
Well, this is so much more exciting than I think even the new evidence is.
I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, we're talking about chasing and fighting and bleeding. I mean, it's a little more exciting than...
Yeah, I hear you. But I did kind of go... I didn't... I'm going to try to tie this back in a minute, just to what I was talking about a minute ago. I totally went off there. So we went back. So go back now to what we were talking about with these dramatic lines, right?
Yes.
I'm the devil. I'm here to do the devil's business. I don't think that was said. I think that's a Vince Bugliosi production.
Right.
So we were talking about that, as I said. And I think this started out from the very beginning of the book, Helter Skelter, even. You remember the line that says in the book, well, let me see. I got the book right here.
You have that book?
Well, of course. I think everybody should have this book. I think everybody that's into this case should read this book, Helter Skelter, because you've got to have something to compare all of this to. What are you guys fighting against? Well, you have to know what you're fighting against, right? Right?
Right, you do.
Well, so you got to read the book, Helter Skelter, to know. the way, who's Blanche? Who's Blanche?
Blanche.
Who is Blanche? The Bug is dedicated this book to Gail and Blanche. I don't know who Blanche is. I was just wondering. So, here you go. Here's the book. Here's the first line of the book. And believe me, it's a great line. It's probably one of the best lines of any book, crime book, or any book that's not fiction. Although this book is fiction. That's the irony of it. It was so quiet, one of the killers would later say. You could almost hear the sound of ice rattling in the cocktail shakers in the homes way down the canyon. You know that line, right? You know that.
I do.
I want to give credit to our TLBer in our group, the Helter Skelter Forum, Lisa Pullman Brune. Lisa, when we were talking about this, she was like, wait a minute. I've heard this line before. Where have I heard this at, right? She went to the trouble to dig this out. Let me read the line that one of the neighbors, I believe it was the Cott neighbor, Mr. Cott, that gave an interview to Vincent Bugliosi when they went to talk to the neighbors. And here's what Mr. Cott said, or one of the Cotts said to Bugliosi in regards to the Cielo house. To Bugliosi, they said, if you listen closely, you can hear the chatter of guests, the music, and even the tinkle of cocktail glasses. Wow, that sounds familiar, doesn't it? That came from an interview that Bugs did with the neighbors. If you listen closely, you can hear the chatter of guests up there, basically at the Cielo house, the music. You can even hear the tinkle of cocktail glasses up there, Vince. Thank you, Mr. Cott. Thank you for your time. Fast forward to the book. It was so quiet, one of the killers would later say, you could almost hear the sound of ice rattling in the cocktail shakers in the homes way down the canyon. You see what I'm getting at here, people? Do you understand what is happening here? Vince Bugliosi, forever the bullshitter of all bullshitters. He literally took that quote and turned it into something the killers would say. And I ask you this, does that sound like anything the killers would even say? Which killer? Which one had the freaking brains to come up with that?
Linda. But wait, Linda wasn't a killer.
But Linda's not a killer. So that takes her out of the equation. I'm sure Susan Atkins was so so brilliant and clever that she was the one that came up with that, right? Or maybe it was Pat Krenwinkel, the one that, she was so creative, she couldn't even spell Helter Skelter, but by God, she's smart enough to come up with that little saying, right? Maybe she was the one that did it.
Yep.
So
creative liberty, right?
It's unbelievable. So, Lisa Pullman Brune, thank you for going to the trouble and pulling that. I mean, that is a valuable piece of, evidence to me that shows Bugs clearly twisting something and making it.
Well, just like those handwritten papers that we found where he's adding little.
Well, that's what I told. That's what I said earlier. We had stumbled onto some notes from Bugs that you can clearly see he's taking something in one scenario and applying it elsewhere to make it completely something different. And we're going to bring those notes out in a future show. In a future program, I promise. We're going to show. It's his own handwriting even. They got the photocopy of his own notes. And you can clearly see what he's doing. It's amazing. So I wanted to bring that out. Thank you, Lisa.
That was a great find.
Great find. Good job. And I know it probably took some trouble to go track that down, but you did a fantastic job. I think she deserves a ding.
She does.
Love that. Thank you. All right. Anything else that we need to go over as far as just the notes and stuff of this?
Really quick, I want to address some things that I saw going on in the chat. I don't know if Blanche was the name of the milkman's wife, but I thought that was particularly funny, whoever said that.
Yeah. I was kind of getting. Yes. I was kind of leaning. I'm asking that because I don't. Who knows, right? Like it would be like Bugs, wouldn't he, to try to slide that in?
Yeah, no, but that was that's Rose Weissel, whatever that was. But yeah, that made me laugh. But I wanted to talk about that blood. They were asking about the blood being tested that was on the trunk, the blue trunk.
Yes.
And it was tested to be Jay's blood. And, yeah, you can see a drip pattern if you look at those photos.
That's a great point. Thank you. Thank you for whoever. Thank you for asking that. And thank you, Tana, for clarifying that. That's just more evidence that there was a fight inside the house. It started inside.
And that he was carried back over inside of the house.
Yes.
Blood dripped down. So.
That's more.
And if you look at the photo, you can see that it runs down the side.
Yeah.
Like someone dripped it. Not a smear or something else.
Right. That's a good point. Thank you. So there you go on that. See? That's Jay's blood on the trunks. It's Jay's blood on the grips of the gun that they found in the house.
One piece was actually found on the porch. There was a third piece, a small little piece. And that one was found outside of the
That tells me right there that Tex is beating Jay up with the gun. Butt of the handle of the gun. Both, I mean, he's inside smashing him with the gun, and it goes outside on the porch, and he's still smashing him with the handle of the gun. Oh, fuck. Okay, there we go.
So it's time to go now, right?
I'm trying to get the static out of this line. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's move on. So it is time to go, but only for just a couple seconds here, I think. I think we're going to take a quick break, and then let me get our thing set up here. By the way, I'm going to tell everybody right now, when we're finished with this program tonight, you're not going to be able to listen to it immediately. I can tell you right now, because I screwed up.
What'd you do?
I played the wrong intro. I played the old intro. That's going to get me flagged for 12 seconds. You know, remember when we first started this program, and I said, I can't. They flagged me for 12 seconds of the intro.
Yeah.
And I put the wrong intro in tonight. And right away when it went off, I said, oh, fuck. I put the original intro in. So they're going to flag me probably for literally 12 seconds of that intro. And it's not going to be viewable because of that, just that one 12-second spot. I'm going to have to take that 12-second spot out of the whole damn thing here.
Well, that's not going to be too hard to do, is it?
I don't know. It's sometimes they're still asking for the August 30th program that we don't never have put up because of that very reason. I was like, God, look, it doesn't seem like it would be a big deal to do, right? I know. Just pull it out, edit it, and put it back up. I'm telling you, man, I got things I'm doing. I got other things I got going on. It's not that. It's not as easy as you might think.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I see how you are.
I'm sorry, you're not as busy as me.
Okay.
I mean, hell, it's easy to write a book.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're not quite as busy as me. So you wouldn't understand.
All right. Okay.
All right. So anyway, I'm going to do the best I can to get it back up as quick as I can. I will tell you this because this is an important program. So I just wanted to warn everybody ahead of time that if it's not available immediately, that's why it's not available. And the minute, you can believe me, the second that thing went off, I just put my head down. I was like, oh, you stupid motherfucker. Yeah. I cussed myself out. I don't care. All right. Anyway, with that being said, let's head on now. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, oh my gosh, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? We have got newly discovered crime scene information that's never been brought out before. And we're happy to bring it out to you here tonight. And we're going to do that in just a couple of minutes right here, live, baby, on the Tate LaBianca radio program. I'm Brian Davis. She's Tana Laufenberg. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Stay with us.
TLB Radio. TLB Radio.
All right, welcome back in the Tate LaBianca radio program. I'm Brian Davis. She is Tana Laufenberg. TLB Radio. Leading the way, baby. Leading the way to the truth of the Tate LaBianca murders. Each and every Sunday night right here on our live YouTube channel. 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You're welcome. Tana Laufenberg, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Let me check. I'm fine, thank you.
Good.
Don't forget the book from Tana Laufenberg, The Defense Never Rested, coming out November 7th on the Kindle, the ebook. Get it now at the link in our description on this very YouTube page at Amazon for $5.33. And then don't forget to pick up the paperback edition that will be following soon after.
So weird to hear you say that.
Is it little weird that,
A
that you're
a little weird.
that you're being introduced as an author?
Yeah.
I bet it is. But I bet it feels good though. You got to feel a sense of accomplishment, man. Tana, I got to be honest, man. I'm so proud of you, honest to God. Cuz I know personally what you went through to get this thing done.
Yeah.
And you really have. Not just to do with the TLB aspect of it, but I just know. So, thank you for continuing to do it. A lot of people probably would have said, screw it, I give up. And I bet, did you ever feel that way at times that it was too, that it was so enormous, that it was so enormous that you were just going like, fuck it, I can't do it?
Well, when I found out that little bit that you're going to have to read in the book about Stephen K., that was one of those moments.
That's in the book?
Yeah, that's in the book.
For those of you that don't know what she's talking about, a few weeks ago, Tana revealed to us that, well, what? You tell us what. What is it? What do you got?
Well, I mean, there's just a little something that I found out about Stephen K. and his involvement in these trials that I think is going to be pretty interesting. And it was very overwhelming when I first found it because, I mean, it didn't sound like it was exactly something he should be doing.
Would you say he was kind of a little weasel in that act?
I would say weasel would be nice.
Okay. So there's another reason. There is another reason to get the book.
Like a flea. I would perish from that one because I always thought he was kind of like a good guy, right? You know, he was that young kid.
Sure, he was right. He's in his 20, 21 or something at the time, 22 or something, I think. Maybe even a little older. But he's like, you're right. He's still kind of young, up and coming. He's just trying to do the right thing.
And all I thought is, you know what? Maybe it's his youth is why he got caught doing something so stupid.
But the thing is,
I don't think Willie Yossi would have gotten caught doing what he did.
Right. Probably is. But the point I'm making is he continued that type of behavior throughout his career.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Anyway, check it out. Go pre-order this book right now for $5.33. The Defense Never Rested. Charles Manson on Trial by Tana Laufenberg.
Wow, sounds weird.
Oh, my God, though. I'm so proud of you, though, girl. You did great. You did great. We actually gave the people the Chapter 20, remember?
We did.
I love that. I love that.
That was a great show.
That was a great program we did that night. and we proved it right there. It's there. You read it yourselves, people. You saw. You read. The defense never got a chance. I mean, they did it. The defense attorneys did it. Not the clients. Not the actual defendants. They had no choice.
Well, that's where the title of the book comes from, is that, you know, right at this dramatic moment before the first penalty phase, or right before the closing arguments begin, that's what Manson says. The defense never rested. The lawyers and the judge rested, but the defense never rested. So I kind of took his little line at that moment.
Good. That's great. That's incredible. Thanks for that little tid. I didn't know where you got the title. Yeah. That's great. Very clever of you.
Well, very clever of him to put on the record for me to then bring to all of you.
Yeah. So we'll talk more about this when the book releases next week.
Yes, of course we will.
We'll get in a little more detail with this, a little bit behind the scenes with Tana, maybe. How she came about to even get into the whole thing, the book, and write the book. But we've got other things to address here tonight. And as promised, we're going to bring you some newly discovered information about this that, as far as I know, has never been revealed, never been hit upon, never been written about, never been talked about. But we, or I should say, once again, she, Miss Laufenberg here, found this. Now, together, one evening, we were sitting, as we always do, and I don't know. Well, we probably meet. What do we do? In the beginning, we were doing, I'd say, every day, every night or something, right? What were we like?
Yeah.
5-6 hours on the telephone together, going over this stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, we're picking this stuff apart every single night. Those couple of years where you didn't hear much from me, you remember those couple of years during 2018, 19, and I'm doing maybe spot shows at that point. I'm doing TLB programs, I don't know, once, twice, maybe a month, here and there. It wasn't anything scheduled. It was just things I would do impromptu, right? And so during this time, the whole time, Tana and I are meeting every day. And we're going over this case, the transcripts, every day. And we're picking it apart. We're reading this stuff. We're looking over the files, the pictures, the crime scene. We're doing everything every day for about 5-6 hours a day. And that's how we were building up to this program that we're doing for the last, May, June, July, August, September, for the last 5 months almost now. So we've put in the work. So one night, and I don't know exactly when this was. It was almost recently, though.
It was when Bo released those boxes of documents.
Yes, Bo put out some, that's right. Bo Emerson. Again, CieloDrive.com. Mm-hmm. CieloDrive.com. I cannot mention him enough. Thank you, Bo Emerson, wherever you are. Bo Emerson puts out a box of documents. And we go through them. Tana and I are picking right through them. We can't. I mean, it's like a Gerber jar of speed for Tex Watson in them, right? That's what we're snorting it up. And in this box, we come across this picture right here. And I'm going to start with this picture because this is where we're going to end here tonight. We're going to end with this picture, so I'm going to start with this picture. And we came, and I even posted this in our group, in our Facebook group, and I said, what is this, everybody? What is this? And this picture right here. Everybody see that right there? We're looking through this box of goods, and we get to this picture, and we're going, what is this? What the hell is this? Laying on the ground in the back of the house of Cielo. And Tana goes, I don't know. What is that? And I don't know. And I put it out there to the group, and they don't know.
And why are they taking it? Why are they taking a picture of it?
And why would right?
Or is it broken off from something? Or
yeah, what is it? And why are they taking a picture of it? We can't figure it out. We literally cannot figure what the fuck this is. What is it about? So we left it. We left it hanging. How long ago was this, Tana? Maybe a couple months, maybe a few months back?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we left it. We left it hanging. We were like, I don't know. Put it on the back burner. Maybe something will come up. I don't know. So that's what we did. We put it on the back burner. Lo and behold, maybe, what was it, a couple weeks ago? When was this that you put, maybe it was last week. When was this that you figured this out?
Like 2 days ago?
Was it that recent? Where the hell am I been?
I know. Where are you? Where you been?
I don't know. Oh my God, it feels like longer. I swear it does. It feels longer than that. I guess it all runs together at this point. Okay. Let me clear some things here because we've got to get some other shots here for you people to see. I got to clear some shots here.
Yeah, because that's where we end. That's not where we start.
This is not where we're going to start, people. No. But it's going to tie in. So hang on one second. I got to get some other. Where would you want to start this at, Tana? Would you want to start with the guy holding the wire, or you want to start with where he's? I mean,
well, yeah. Why don't you show the guy holding the wire?
Okay,
because this is that picture.
This is what it's about right here. This is what it starts with right here. I guess. Let's start right here. So Tana's looking through this again, and you know what I like? Sometimes you're just looking for something else, and something else pops up, and it answers a question you've had that was hanging from 3 months ago, right? And that's what happened.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened here. Yep.
Tana Laufenberg is looking through the files on her own at this particular time. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm sitting back smoking pot somewhere. I don't know. But Tana is looking at this on her own this particular night, a few days ago.
What I was doing is I was checking the sourcing on something for the book.
Okay. So you're checking the source for your book, and you stumble across this as it starts. And we'll start right here with this wire right here. And you see this wire right here? This is not a phone line.
Well, it's a phone line.
It's not, though. It's not a phone line. It's a communication box line.
It's not cut from that same pole.
Right. That's the key here. Let me put this up. Let me get to this now. I think we're going to get so far. I don't have I've got the pictures ready here, but I don't have them loaded up, so I've got to actually go into the folder here. Let's go. So this line is what it's all about. This line right here that was cut. Let's go back here to the beginning here of the pole.
Now, the officer that we're going to see, that's actually Officer Michael McGann. He's the same one that was doing the testimony about the blood on the porch.
Yeah.
And was doing the estimation of the size. So that's him.
Officer McGann. Yes.
McGann.
Thank you. Let me get this out here. Okay, so we all know Tex Watson went up there and cut the phone lines, right? He says, everybody says, Tex says, we all said, Tex cut the phone lines. They went over the gate, and Stephen Parent comes down pretty much immediately. Tex Watson says this in his book. He says, we got over the gate. He says, we barely got over the gate. We barely got over the gate, and we noticed headlights coming down, right? And let's clarify. I'll tell you what, I'm going to start right here even. This is where, and this is Officer McGann standing here. And this is where they went over the gate at. This is where they went. This is the path they took over the gate. Well, let's get this up here. And you can see for yourself to start out, this is where they went over the gate at to get into the property. Right there. They went up over that little path there where the trash is, and they went up that little embankment, up over the gate right there on the other side. Watson says, we barely got over the gate, and we noticed the headlights of an oncoming car. And he went, of course, to Stephen Parent when he stopped to push the button to open the gate and shot the guy 4 times. And somewhere in there, he slashed the guy on the arm and killed him. And then pushed the car up the driveway and told the girls, come on, follow me. And let me clarify another thing Tex says. The girls, when the car came down the driveway, Tex told the girls to go hide. To get down and go hide, right? Get down in the bushes there and hide. And if the girls did that, then they clearly did not see the murder. They saw Tex at the car, if that's what happened even. I don't even think Stephen came down there. I don't think that even happened. But going with the official narrative here for a moment, if that happened, the girls were in no position to witness the murder, according to Tex Watson's book there. So there's where it starts. They went up over the gate right there, right? Okay. Let's move on here. Get rid of this. Okay, now let me bring this picture up. All right, I'm going to try to do. I got this in sequence. I hope I got this right, Tana. As you see this, and you think I need to put something else up, let me know, and I'll.
I will.
I'm pretty sure I got this right though in sequence. So, let's go to the next shot here. 1, 2, 3, and. Oh, I guess let me go to this first. Let me get the telephone pole here. I want to make sure we get all of this right. Okay. This is a good shot right here. And again, all of these pictures coming from the cielodrive.com. Again, I don't know where we would be without him because we would not have any of this.
You know, I'm not even sure where it is that these girls were supposed to be hiding in the bushes. I mean, there's really not bushes there, like behind the garbage cans.
Maybe. You're right. I don't know, but that's what he says. They're hiding. So, and I don't know. Maybe he's lying again. All right, there you go. There's coming up to the gate. And that is that would be going up to the property, right? Or is that on the other side? I can't even tell. I think it's going up
I can't see yet, so.
I think that's going up to the property.
Yeah, that's going up to the property, right.
Okay. And then you see
this is the exhibit where Linda's identified where Tate parked the car.
Yeah, Linda's writing. That's Linda's writing right there. That's Linda Kasabian's writing in red. And she's labeling where they parked the car. And when they went over, and where they went over the gate at, where they went over the fence at.
Right.
And there's the telephone pole right there that Tex climbed up and cut the lines. Which is amazing in itself. Come on. He's never done that before. His first time he ever tried that in the dark, and he got it right. He hit the right lines. You know, there's a parole hearing where the commissioner says, you know, I don't know how you did it. I probably would have electrocuted myself. Greg G. No, that's not inside. That's outside. That's going inside. That's from the outside going into the property. It's right there's where they parked the car. Okay. So let's go now to another shot here. And we'll go with McGann here. All right, now here's the thing. We have always understood that Tex made the cut to the phone lines, went in and then killed Parent, then went up to the house and killed everybody else, right? Right.
Right.
But what you don't know, and here's the better shot. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Here's a better shot of a closer up shot of the pole. And Mr. Watson went up and cut. I don't know how he did it, but he did. I guess he did. Maybe somebody else was with him that night and cut it. Who knows? He did make a wrong turn and go through West Hollywood. A lot of weird people live in, well, not weird, but a lot of people live in West Hollywood that he would have known. Massaro. There's the telephone pole that he climbed up, and you can see the. How would you know what the fuck to cut? Look at that. I think that's just the first tier. I think there's another tier even. All right, so there's that.
Now, in the Tex trial, Linda says that all of the girls remained inside of the car while Tex did that, and they just saw lines falling.
Yeah.
Yet Tex says in his book that somebody hands in the bolt cutter.
Yeah.
So there's a discrepancy there.
There's a discrepancy there, right. Thank you. Okay. That's what we think we know. But really, here's what happened. Let me bring the picture up first. Because I've seen these pictures before, and I never even put this together. It's amazing. So let's go to the first shot here of McGann and what he's doing here. Okay. It's a good one right here. Okay, now here's where the new information's coming, people. We're gonna spring this on you, I guess, right here, right now. here is Officer McGann, and he's inside the gate now. He's inside the gate. And look what he's doing. He's pointing to another pole, right? Their little short pole right there. You see that? He's pointing to the little pole right there, that little short pole. Because that's where the connection was to this line right here. That's where the connection, that's where that line connected to. That piece of wire that you see right there, that did not come from this telephone pole. No. That piece of wire came from the pole that he's standing and pointing to right here.
You got a better close-up of that one, too, because it's hard to tell in that photo. You just see him pointing towards...
We're going to get to it. We'll get there. We'll get there. I'll get there. I'll get there.
Are we going to get there, Brian?
I'll get there. Hold on. I'll get there. Was there a bird? What's the bird's name? I'll get there. Stop. I'm getting there.
Now you sound like a bird right there.
Okay. So back to this. This is where he's pointing to this pole because that's where that wire was connected to. And Tana, what are you doing at this point? Now you're going, wait a minute. Are you looking at this the other night and you're going, what? Wait a minute. How are you putting this together right now at this point?
Well, I read the testimony, and the testimony says that Officer McGann says that this wire is hanging on the other side of the property, on the inside of the property. So I was actually just reading his testimony about these photos, and of course, Kineric was being really annoying. So I was getting a headache from trying to read through all of the lines of Kineric just going over and over and over again. But then I started to realize that this was these photos that we had looked at before, and that it was hanging on the down line was hanging on the inside of the property, not on the outside of the property like the rest of the lines were. So then I had to go back to the photos, and sure enough, there he is, pointing to this other photo.
Wow.
Just like he says in his testimony.
So it's starting to come to you like, wait a minute, what's going on here, right?
Yeah.
Something's not right. What's going on? Something's not right around here.
Yeah.
What's going on? Because I was thinking something's not right.
That's right.
All right, so here is another close-up of that very pole you see him pointing to, right? Here's another shot of this right here. It's a close-up. That's the little pole right there that he's pointing to in this picture right here.
And this is the photo that really sealed it for me because you can see, obviously, now, that is a completely different pole.
With a completely different line.
Yeah. And
Again,
he's got to climb up on something to get to it.
He's got to climb up on something to get to it, McGann. And this is what he's cutting right here, people. This is what he's cutting right there, that line. Remember that, okay? That line did not come from the big telephone pole on the outside of the gate. That line came from the inside, right here, off of this little pole that you see McGann pointing to. In fact, it looks like he's kind of pointing to where the line was connected, to where it was cut. Right?
That's what it looks like to me.
That's what it looks like to me. Let's go. Here's another angle. There he is, pointing again to it. There he is. So there's the line. There's what he's pointing to. That's what he cut. Now, where does this go? What the fuck is this line, right? Let's follow the line. Let's follow where they said, follow the money, follow the money. Well, let's follow this line for a moment. Now, let's see where this thing heads to. Okay, hold on. I'm getting there. Hold on. I'm getting there. Okay. So, the police officers, they start to follow the line from that pole, right? And this is where it takes them. This is where they're looking at. Let me, in fact, let me get a couple. Let me set up a couple of these pictures so I don't have to keep doing this every time, and therefore we can kind of go right.
Well, the wire was hanging loose, also down onto the driveway on the inside. So,
and
I think that
good point. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying, like, because, you got to go through this whole thing, like, okay, could it have been cut before? Who you got to run through the whole thing, but it's like it was hanging down in the driveway in such a way that had it been done before, you would not have let the wire just hang there right in the way of everything, because it was hanging off of the garage down into the driveway.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good point. Thank you. Yes.
Right.
It was hanging off of the garage, actually, down into the driveway. And they're looking at that going, where was this thing? What is this, right?
Right.
So let's follow that a little bit here. I'm trying to load up these pictures. Thank you for taking some of the time off of me so I can get this done. Okay.
Well, this is also, even if I don't know the significance of a lot of it. I don't know if it was ever hooked up or if the line was active,
that doesn't matter. That does not matter.
Right, it adds another step.
Right. Let's Inksnay. God.
I'm impatient.
Every week with you.
I know.
All right, so they're following the line, people. Whoops, I'm at the wrong picture. And it goes across. There it goes. They continue following it up over. Okay. Let's keep going. Up over the garage there. To there. It goes from the garage over to the, you can see it all there. It strings on over to the house here. I'm going to show this real quickly. There we go. See the line? It goes on across the garage there.
It looks like we have no sound on it on the chat.
Has to be.
They're saying we have no sound. They can't hear us.
Oh, okay. Hang on, I might have.
And then it says the audio is returned.
Yeah. They don't want the truth, people. I'm telling you. They do not want the truth out tonight.
Yep.
Let me go back then. There you go. You can see the line. It goes across the driveway. Right there is what I was saying. It goes across the driveway, up over the garage, and then across the garage to the house, to the back of the main house, right here. You can see that. Let me bring a bigger picture here just to hammer it in even more. I'm going to bring this out. And this is what the cops are doing now. We're right here in step with the police, the detectives. This is what they're doing. They're following this line down.
Right.
And it goes on up across the backside here of the house, right? You see that? Okay. And they finally get to the back of the house, the back of Cielo. Okay. Right there, kind of, right? You see that, right? This is where they're following this down to this line. And they're like, well, it goes all the way back here. Yeah, it goes all the way back here and all the way to the main house and then to the back of the main house. And let's go here. And then finally they say, well, look, this is where it leads to. And they even write this. I can't read this blue. I think you made it out. I couldn't. I mean, these people, they write like doctors.
I think it said where the end of the communication wire was.
Right here. It goes right. Yeah, I think that's you're right. End of communication wire, which is what we're talking about here. That's what this line right here is. It's a communication line, right? Right there. And then it goes again. It runs all through what we just went through to this point right here, to that blue X right there. And there's McGann following it down. And guess what? It comes right back to this box right here. So that little box right there, it's not a cigarette pack. It's not a whatever. It's not a communicator from Star Trek. It is a freaking intercom box. A communication box.
It is a speaker box.
A speaker box. Now, what is the significance of all this? So what? That's kind of what I said to Tana when she brought this to me the other day. Because I'm not going to lie. I'll tell you what happened. I'm talking about the boat in the driveway. Right, Tana?
Yep.
And you're like, I don't want to hear this. Boat in the driveway, Brian. I don't care. I found this. And I said, well, I don't care about that. What does that mean? So what? They found a phone. No, you don't understand, Brian. Tell us why. I didn't understand. What does this show, Tana?
It just shows that there was another step in the process that no one's talking about.
There was another step in the process, people. Tex Watson didn't just cut the phone lines and then get in the gate and shoot Stephen Parent. He cut the phone lines, then he went over to this phone pole right here, the little one, inside the gate, and he made another cut, an extra cut, to where he cut the communication, the intercom box. They've never told that. How come that was left out of the story? Why did that not come out? Why? What would have been the reason why you didn't tell that? You'd be able.
And why is that? And why is there a small speaker laying on the ground at the rear of the property? Because that's what that box is. It's a speaker box.
Right, and then go back to that because it was relevant. It was relevant enough for them to take a picture of it. Right, the cops.
Right.
Why is it laying back there?
Now it says though that it does have there are wires that are still attached to it. I just don't know why it's.
Because I'll tell you why. Because when Tex got back there and he cut this from the pole right there where McGann is pointing at, or the line that went down to the box, he cut that too because he didn't know if it worked or not. But you know what? He was like, fuck it, I'm going to cut it anyway just in case it works. Now, how did it get back here in the back of the house? Let me ask you a question. Who do we know? Who do we know for sure that admits to going to the back of the house? Who?
Linda.
Linda Kasabian. So why was this never brought out? Because I'll bet you $1 to donuts, as they say. They did not bring this out because that would have implicated Linda Kasabian. Right?
I'm not sure that it was from the front. It seems like it may have been in the back somewhere, but I just don't think that it would have been laying on the ground. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Come on. What would a speaker be doing in the back of the freaking house like that? What purpose is it? You don't know because it wouldn't have been. You're right. You don't know because it wouldn't have been. There's no. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll tell you what, Roman. Let's put an intercom out in the back of the house that we never go to. But you know what? Maybe the gardener's out there one day, and I might need to get to him. Excuse me, Mr. Gardner, are you back there? Mr. Gardner, are you back there? Yes, ma'am. I'm back here. I'm back at the back of the house, ma'am. Just jacking off. What can I do for you, ma'am? Excuse me. Looking for the gardener. Gardener, line 1. Gardener, line. No. It makes much more sense that box was an intercom at the front of the gate. For whatever reason, that's where Tex cut the box. I'll bet you, again, $1 to donuts here, Tex Watson cut that box. Somehow, Linda Kasabian's got it, and Tex says, get rid of the box, too. Get rid of this box. Linda goes around back to look for the open windows, and she dumps the box right there. Or maybe Linda cut the box. Right?
Right. Or maybe the box. See, they say that there are wires attached to it, but they don't say if those wires are attached to anything else. So it's either got a bunch of wires sticking out of it or it's still attached somewhere, but I'm not sure. It doesn't.
Well, you're right there. That much we can't be sure of.
Right. But I don't know why it's laying on the ground either way. Right?
Yeah.
Because you're right. You're not going to have, even if you do have a speaker somewhere, you're not going to have it laying back in the bushes, are you?
No. No, you're not.
Right. Now, in the transcripts, though, they act like it's nothing.
Yeah. Again, because they're going to implicate that would make Linda look bad, I would think. Because she said, it's already been said, Linda went around to look for open windows, right? We know this. And again, here's where the box was found, by the way, people. I want to clarify that because you can see the edge of the house right there. That corner right there, you see the corner where that blue arrow is? That's right here where the box. That's the same corner right here where the box is. And if Linda, who said she went around the back, Tex said, go around the back and see if there's anything open. She went around the back, came back, and there was nothing open. And let me get another one up here. Again, right here. Right there where that corner, right there where the ivy or whatever is growing up on the wall. She goes around the back side there. Nothing open. And throws the box down or drops it or something. I don't know, but that's where it is. And the only one that said, maybe somebody else was behind the house there, went behind the house. I don't know, but we know who said that she did, that admitted that they were there. That was Linda.
Right.
And the big point here of all, as Tana pointed out, is that there is an extra step here in this process that was never brought out. It was suppressed. It was hidden. The cops evidently thought it was a big deal because they're taking pictures of all this. I mean, look, you got McGann pointing at the little pole there. You got, where they're taking pictures of the line, where it goes up the driveway, where it strings over the garage. Where it strings over the garage to the main house. And
I looked at William Garrettson's testimony about the gate in the text trial.
Go back to that. Yes, go back. What does he say again? Remember?
Well, he says that, they're asking him about the wires, if there's any bell or alarm that sounds, and he's saying that when the gate closes, there is an alarm or a bell that sounds in the house. Now, I'm wondering if that speaker box was the origin of wherever that bell sound was when the gate were closed.
That's a good point. But
I still don't see why that would be on the ground. That would not be the place where you would have it on the outside of the house, on the ground, in the back like that, right?
I think we can establish that the damn thing is not going to be on the ground out in the back of the house, right? I think we can establish that. I mean, it's stupid. Does that not look like a stupid place for a box?
Right. So did they know that there was going to be a bell that would ring and they were disabling it?
Tex Watson would know that, right?
Right. But they also asked him some interesting questions.
Let me say this, too. Let me say this. I don't think Charlie would even know this.
Of course not.
I don't think he would know this layout.
No, he would not. No way.
This is totally something Tex would know. Tex even says to the girls, on the way to Cielo, Tex says, we're going to Terry's old house because I know the layout. Do what I tell you. He knows the layout, man. So, again, the big point here, the main point is there is an extra step here that Tex Watson took that never came out. Yeah,
and wherever that wire was, where he cut it from, because we don't know if he had to climb up on the other side or was there some other place, but he had to go to a different location. No matter where that location was, it's different from where he cut those other wires.
Exactly.
Completely.
He had to go to another spot to even cut those wires. Again, back down here to the second pole, again, where McGann is pointing to. And that's not, look at that area. That's a little bit up from the gate.
Right.
So he comes over the gate, and he does not go immediately, because that's what he said in his book. We got over the gate, and barely, he even uses the word, we barely got over the gate when headlights came down. Now, I guess you could, but see, if you said, well, maybe he cut the lines after he shot Parent. No, that's not what he did. According to him, he pushed the car back up the driveway, right?
Right.
He's not going to shoot Parent and then go cut the wires while the car's rolling down the hill and through the gate, right? And then push the car back up. No. He's going, if that happened, if Steve Parent did get killed at the gate, he's going to push the car up the driveway, like he said. But that's not it. And then I guess he could have pushed the car up the driveway, then walked back down to the gate here and cut that line. But I don't think he would have done that.
Well, what if he cut the wire, but he didn't cut it at the pole? Maybe he cut it at the fence area, like as he's going over.
Hey, I got to point this out. I'm just glancing at the chat finally here. And I'm sorry, people. I've not been able to look at the chat during these pictures. I can't do both. But now that I've got the pictures out, I'm kind of glancing here. Jarius Anthony says, wait, maybe after the wire was cut, the slack of the wire caused the box to fall to the ground. But my point is, Jarius, I think the box was also there at the pole that McGann is pointing at. I don't think the box was originally back here behind the house.
See, I think it might have been somewhere inside the back of the house somewhere. I don't think it was on the ground there, but maybe it was in a window or I don't know.
I'm going to disagree with that with respect to you, Tana. I really am. Yeah. And I just don't think that was the place. I think this box was originally at the gate, not at the gate, but at the I guess the button here where they push, where McGann is pointing. Not exactly on the pole, but down a little lower. I think that's where the box was. I think when it got cut, they don't want to leave the evidence laying right there in the driveway. So Tex says, pick that box up. Follow me. Linda picks the box up, follows him up the driveway. Go around the back. Look for an open window. And get rid of that box. Linda goes around back. She looks for the window. Not there. But she gets rid of the box stupidly and drops it on the ground or throws it on the ground, I guess. I
wish we had better photos.
To where we see it right there. Thank you, Karen Schroeder. The box was at the pole, I think, too. That's what I'm thinking. I think the box was at the pole. It was an intercom. Hey there, everybody. I'm up here at the gate, pushing the button here. It's not working. Can you open the gate for me? How there at the front of the house there, We're here. You know, the intercom. We got to communicate to the fucking house, right? That's what makes sense to me. Jarius, we don't know that. Were there other communication boxes inside the house? We don't know. I don't know. Do you know that, Tana? Did it come out anywhere that there were other communication boxes inside?
William Garrison was asked if he had any way to communicate with the house other than the phone lines, and he didn't. But here's something interesting. Did you know that the reason why they had so many phone lines is because they were party lines still back then? They had a private line and a party line going into the houses.
God, I hated those things.
You remember those things?
Yes.
You're old enough to remember that?
Unfortunately.
Wow.
Yeah. But I think that's where that box... Let me say this. I'll put it in this perspective. If that box right here was inside the back of the house or inside the house, right, why would they take it out of the box? Why? What's the point of taking it and throwing it out the back door? Why would
I know. I wonder if it was mounted somewhere back there. But that doesn't make sense either.
Why would it be, even then, why would it be mounted back in the back of the house? For what reason? Who's in the back of the house? There's not anybody hardly.
It's very weird. It's very weird.
But why, if it's inside the house, why would they take it and pick that to throw out the back or throw out in the backyard, right? Like, here's the thing. Tex cut the phone lines. Why wouldn't he go inside the house and throw the telephone out the back of the door?
Yep.
If he's going to throw this box out the back of the door because it's in the house, why wouldn't he just go ahead and throw the telephone out too? He had already cut the line. It wasn't going to work. He just immobilized it. He wouldn't have to throw it out. This thing, in my opinion, it was at the gate. It was at the pole. It was.
I don't know. It depends on, because we can't see from that photo, and I didn't find any testimony to find out if that box was even connected to anything. So if it's just not connected to anything, then okay.
But Tex Watson wouldn't know that.
I mean, right now, if you see it on that picture on the ground, if it is still attached to a wire right there, then it didn't come from the front.
I disagree. If it's attached,
but if it's not,
it came from right here. It was right here in this picture right here. That's where the thing in the front of the house at the pole. This is where it was cut right here, right? Probably connected to this.
Yeah, probably.
And if it's wires attached to the box that we can't see, laying on the ground there, the wires that are attached to this box that we can't see would be attached to this right here. This wire. That's what it would be attached to. In my opinion. Now, this is my opinion.
Unless it's still attached to another wire that's still attached to the house.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. But nonetheless, we could debate that all night. We can go back and forth with this. Here's the point. Here's the point.
They still cut that wire.
They still cut that wire. They still took an extra step in this process to cut that wire. And that has never been revealed. Why? When they're telling the truth about this case, when they're telling the official narrative, why did they leave this step out? Tana, what would this be like? This would be like, this would be like baking a cake.
Oh, yes. Yeah. You didn't put the baking soda in.
We're baking a cake.
You skip one, you skip one step, and now you have a flat cake, and it's not the same.
There you go. We're baking a cake. I give you the recipe, and you say, Brian, the cake came out flat. What the fuck? And you find out I left out the baking soda part, or the baking powder.
Right.
Because I told you, here's what you do, Tana. You take some eggs, you take some flour, you mix it all up. Do the hokey pokey, and you bake it in the oven, and you bake it all about, and you got your cake. You do that, it comes out flat. Brian, the damn cake came out flat. Oh, I forgot to tell you one important step. The baking soda.
A little step, but a big step.
Right. And I'm telling you, in my opinion, again, this screws up the official narrative that Steve Parent was coming down the driveway at the time they got over the gate. Unless, of course, like I said, Tex and them walked back down the driveway and decided to cut that little wire. No, I don't think that happened. I think when he cut the main phone wires and they got over the gate, he knew about this one. Now, did he know that it was hooked up and it was working? Probably not. He didn't know probably either way, but he wasn't going to take any chances. I'm not going to take any chances. I'm going to cut this one too. Because I know this goes up to the house. Right?
Right. Now, there is nothing, though, that says that he cut the wire at that post. He cut it a little bit further away from the post. Like maybe when they were cut.
I don't care. I don't care. He cut the thing. He took an extra step.
Yeah, there's an extra step.
Took an extra step that they never talked about. They never brought up in their story. What? Okay. What was the difference, though? Well, I mean, you come over the fence, you cut the extra communication wire, and the guy comes down the driveway then, right? Why didn't they say that?
Yep, I don't know.
Because it probably didn't happen. Because if they start talking about that, then it gets into, well, how did the box get back here in the backyard? Oh, Linda did that.
Maybe.
Okay, maybe not, but she's the one that we know was behind the house, right? Karen Edwards says the wire is still connected to the box. The cop is holding it in the picture. Let me see what picture that would be. Am I missing the picture here? I don't know what picture she's talking about.
I don't know what picture she's talking about.
I'm sorry, Karen. I'm not. You're probably right. I don't doubt you. Oh wait. I think it's this one right here. Maybe. Is that it? Is that it, Karen? I can't tell, but he looks like he's holding the box or something there. It looks like he's picked the box up. Does that look like he's picking the box up to you, Tana?
I can't see what you're seeing yet.
Let me enlarge that.
I haven't seen anything that looks like he's picking the box up.
Yeah, right here it is. Yeah, right here. I think this is it right here. Hang on. I think this is it. I've enlarged this a little bit. I think it clearly looks like he's picking the box up right there.
I think it looks like he's pointing to the box, and I think that...
Look at it again. Look at it again, please. That doesn't look like he's holding... That does not look like it's holding the box to you?
It does look like he's holding the box.
It does or does not?
It does.
Yeah, it looks like he's holding the box right there.
So then it's not attached to anything.
No, but I don't know. Karen said that she saw wires. I think this is what he's picked up, and there's some wires or something there. I mean, if that's where the wires... I can't tell if there's wires connected, I'll say that. But he's definitely picking up the box. Interesting. That's a good call there, Karen. I didn't see that myself of him. It looked like he was pointing from the original. Yeah, I couldn't tell that. I couldn't tell. What is that there, Miss Laufenberg? What are you seeing? What are you thinking?
I don't know.
Let me say this. Why do you think they didn't take prints off of this box?
I don't know, right?
Or if they did, is that something Bugs would suppress?
Well, we do have all those prints that we don't have any. That are not accounted for. So
Yeah.
we know they didn't. We don't know that they didn't take them.
Let me go back. Somebody said, looks like he's holding something in the right hand. Bill M. said that. Let me go back to that. See what he's holding. I can't tell. It gets a little blurry, but maybe he is holding something. I can't quite tell. Might be right, Bill. You might be. I can't tell that, but maybe. Okay. Let me just say again. Let me re-establish this. There's the wire. Again, this is what we're talking about right here. This is what was cut. And that did not come from the main telephone pole that we think, Tex went up there, cut the wires. Oh, okay, there we go. So every wire cut was from the telephone. No, that's not the case here.
And in the testimony, even says you're talking about a wire separate and distinct from the telephone wire. So either way, it is completely separate from those other wires.
Yes, that's the point that I want to make and that we want to make.
Right. So wherever the location was where this wire was cut, whether it was at that pole or at the gate or wherever, it was still cut. Separate from those. Mark
Boland says, bigger question is, did this box come from the front gate or inside? Is there a mate inside or still by the gate? Mark, I would, again, I'm going to say that this particular box came from the inside. I'm sorry, came from the gate. Because if it's, and there may be a box inside. There may be a mate box inside the house as we see this picture. Because you would think there has to be, right? To communicate back and forth, there's got to be a receptive box somewhere.
Right.
That's why I think that would still be in the house. Because why would Tex go in the house and go, oh, here's the box where that line went to. I think I'm going to throw this out the backyard. I mean, he might as well throw the telephone out the backyard, too. So that's why I think that this box came from the gate here, or from where McGann is pointing, or somewhere in that area, the gate, right there at the box at the button. Maybe there's a picture somewhere of the button that you have to open the gate with going out that the box is next to. Maybe. I haven't seen one, but there might be. So
they asked Garrettson about that, and he said that it was just the button to access, and that was it.
So Garrettson only knew about the button to access the gate.
Right.
And he would know, you would think, right, if there was a box there.
Yeah, unless it wasn't working, but it wasn't functioning at that point when he started working there.
I'm with you, Mark. Why not toss the box right where you cut it? I agree.
Or maybe the whole thing wasn't in operation and it was just laying there already for some reason.
Oh,
it was lazy, or
that could be. I don't think it was already cut. I'm not gonna buy that. Why not toss the box right when you cut it? Maybe they didn't want the evidence anywhere around. I don't know. Maybe Linda wasn't supposed to drop it in the back of the house. Maybe she was supposed to keep it, and she said, "Fuck it, I'm out of here. I'm dropping the box." Whatever. I don't know. That's a good question.
Well, wouldn't they have, if it was loose, wouldn't they have collected it for evidence?
Well, didn't they?
No.
It's not booked anywhere in evidence?
No, it's left right there, like almost as though it's still attached somewhere back there.
You don't think they picked that up and took it with them?
No, I don't think they did.
Huh. Wow. Okay. You're right about that, John Michael. Hello to you there, my friend. When you're two sheets in the wind, all rationale is out the window. I say that all the time. I cannot explain why these people did the dumb shit that they did. Only their fucked up minds know why they did what they did in the moment that they did it, right? I don't know. I can't explain that. I get those questions all the time. Why would they do this? Why did they do that? Why did they bring two? I don't know. People are like, I think they went there to murder. That's why they brought another set of clothes. What does that mean? What does that prove? As if bringing a set of clothes and murdering them is going to get them off the hook, or they could have been there to rob the place and brought a second pair of clothes just for the same reason that they would have brought a pair of clothes if they would have murdered somebody. I mean, I don't see where that proves that they were there to murder just because they brought a second change of clothes. That doesn't prove nothing to me.
But I definitely think that this is something that we need to look more into.
I do too.
What else we know about this box?
I do too.
What it's attached to, where it's supposed to be, or
I do too. I say that because, again, they left this step out.
That's the important part.
And that's the important part. And so, even on a slightly, little bit even bigger scale, when I get asked the question, well, how come they haven't changed their story in 50 years? They keep telling the same official narrative, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Why did they leave this step out? Why didn't they tell this?
Right.
Why wouldn't they say this? It happened. We're proving it happened right here. There's no doubt it happened. Why did they leave this out? I don't know. Why did they leave the blood on the front porch out when they know Jay was out there? They know Sharon was at least at the doorway.
Yep.
Why did they leave that out? Because Bugs had his story. And for whatever reason, and I think the whatever reason is for whatever reason Bugs is telling us, most of it has to do with he does not want Linda implicated any more than she is.
In the proximity of any murder.
Of any of it. Because remember, Linda is cut from a different cloth. She's a hippie girl.
Oh, yeah.
She's a little off and she's done some things, but she's not a murderer like them. She's cut from a different cloth. And to keep that pure, to keep that credible, he has to keep her out of this as much as possible. Right?
Right. Totally right.
So I think that's the answer right there. For whatever reason. Things we might not ever know why Bugs did it. But that's where I think it comes from. Again, why is all of this not brought out? The truth of this. Why? I don't know. But this is the facts, people. These are the facts. Hey, we didn't make this up. I didn't doctor that picture. This is true. This is what's going on here. Bud's never mentioned this, did he? Did he ever mention this? I've never seen anywhere where he mentions this.
No.
Oh, Tex got in there and he cut from the telephone pole, he got in the gate, and he cut the communication line too.
And then in Tex's book, you have him identifying things so specifically, like, with my left hand, I
threw the
grabbed
gun.
his right leg. Or
No, he says it right. I mean, it's funny. Tex Watson, right, in his book, he can be as detailed as, the artist painting the Mona Lisa or something, put the little eyelash, whatever, the eyelash or whatever on there, right? He can be detailed like that. Linda threw the knives out one by one, and then I threw the gun out with my left hand. I threw the gun out the window, right? He knows exactly little details that he did, but he never mentioned this. He says when he got over the gate, he barely got over the gate, and they saw the headlights coming down from Stephen Parent. That's not true.
Right, and even if, let's say that somehow, because we only have a limited amount of information, let's say if somehow he still was on the other side of the fence when he cut that wire, it still would be another step. He would have had to get down from that pole and go to another location and cut another wire. So no matter where these photos end up playing out, it's still a completely different step.
Yes.
Don't you think?
I think that's important. Yes, Tana. Yes, yeah. I do.
I'm just saying that because we don't have a lot of information on this just yet.
Mark wants to enlarge that. There you go, Mark. I've got that enlarged pretty big right there. Let me see. I guess I might can get a little bit bigger, but
I would think they would have more photos of this, right?
Yeah, I would think so too. Amy Wilkins says, "Let's call Linda and ask her."
Tried that.
Yeah, we tried that.
Tried that.
It didn't work. What'd she say? I'm old. I told everything I know, right? What'd she say? Something like that?
Maybe we should send her a free copy of my book.
What'd she say? I'm old. I can't do it. What did she say?
I'm old. I'm fat. I'm disabled. There's nothing more to say.
I'm old. I'm fat. I'm disabled. There's nothing more to say. That's what she said when we called her. We did that. We're thinking just like you, Amy. we tried to call her and ask her. Jarius Anthony, Brian, please post the box on the ground on the Helter Skelter forum so we can try and make it more clear. I will do that, Jarius. I posted this one other time some months back, and that was back when we first came across the thing, and we were like, what is this? And we had no clue.
I mean, it doesn't look like it's even in very good shape, but whoever cut that wire thought that there was something functioning to this.
Yeah, that's my point. I mean, whoever cut the wire, and maybe they didn't know either way, but they weren't taking any chances, right? They were going to, I don't know if that thing works or not, but it looks like it's connected to some wire, and there may be, maybe something there, right? So let's take no chances, and let's just cut the thing anyway.
Because it does look beat up, doesn't it? If you really look at it.
Yeah. Serial killers and True Crime Central, if they were there to just steal, why didn't they try to cover their faces? They were not all on speed. Let's see here. Tex Watson was on speed. Susan Atkins was on speed. We know that.
Linda wasn't in the house.
Linda wasn't at the house, or in the house, supposedly. Okay, she was waiting down by the car or the gate. And Pat Krenwinkel, she doesn't need anything. Well, she's just fucked up.
Wait, here's the other answer, right? If they're there and they're drugged, they're both groups that are operating outside of the law. They're gonna. You really think that Jay Sebring, if he gets robbed for drugs, is gonna call the cops and say, "Hey, they went and they stole my drugs"?
Well, that's a good point.
911.
They're not going to need to wear any face covering, Mr. Serial Killers and True Crime Central. They're not going to need to wear face covers because they're all outside the law. They're all operating illegally.
Right.
That's a good point, Tana. You think if they, oh my God, I was robbed, officer. They stole my load of drugs or whatever, or my money or whatever, right? They probably don't want that attention. I don't think they were worried about covering their faces. And if, for that matter, what's a change of clothes going to do?
Sam Smith, Kasabian said Charlie gave everybody a tab of speed that night. I'd like to know where that was said.
Yeah, really, Sam Smith. Where are you getting that from there, buddy? See, Sam Smith, that's the kind of shit that I'm talking about. And I'm not going to come down on you too hard. I can't help it that you just believe whatever you hear or read, but that's...
Oh, there's another one, though. The narrative is they took a white pill, Kasabian thought, with speed. I've never heard anything or seen anything about anybody taking a white pill before they went that day. Have you?
No, it's not in any of the transcripts. And this is what I'm talking about. Sam Smith, if you're going to make that, all right, Kasabian said Charlie gave everybody a tab of speed that night. Why don't you just go, and this is what the source is where? Where did you see that at? Where did you hear that at?
Right.
It wasn't anywhere in the transcripts or in court.
I do agree that Linda was a seasoned drug dealer and still is. Yeah. If you read the Tex Watson transcript, you will see that she has got a very solid drug dealing history.
Sure.
At that point.
Even before she got to California.
Oh, yeah. Massive.
She said that on the Manson movie. What Manson movie did she say that on? I don't know what Manson movie you're talking about. The Kasabian documentary. Let me tell you something, people. If you're going to go off of that, my God. Do you realize when she did that? Well, when did she do that? The one she's narrating, Tana.
Oh, that was my favorite.
When she's
that brought me into this case.
When she's into the wig.
Yeah.
So you're going to tell me you're going to believe something she said 40 years, what, 6, 7, 8, 9, 99, 40 years later, she comes out and says, oh, yeah, and Charlie gave us each a white tab of acid that night, right? Nah.
I don't even remember seeing that in that movie. I mean, if they say that it was in there, I will believe them, but, I mean,
yeah.
Come on. Yeah, she stole the $5,000 because she knew, that was an easy steal. It's not like she had to, dress in black and go through some sort of obstacle course.
Tex Watson takes credit for that, by the way. Yeah, she was old, dude. She was old. I get that. But I'm saying, of course, here's another thing. She was paid for that, right? She was paid money. She was paid to talk about that in the 2009 movie, the documentary. She was paid money. Now, I'm going to tell you something.
I do think it is possible, and I know you don't like it when I say this, Brian, but I do think that it is possible. Linda had a lot more to do with a lot more of this than people think.
I don't know. What, stealing maybe?
Drug dealing, the whole thing.
Whatever. I don't see the evidence.
See? I know you don't. But
I really don't. But I don't think they were on any drugs like that. I think Tex Watson nailed it. They were on some, Tex and Susan did a big snort of speed before they left, all right? Yep. Tex says he did it the next night as well.
I still think that Linda, I don't know, there's something more to her. I do.
I'm not, Frank, I mean, she did lie. She said whatever Bugs wanted her to say. That was the deal. You've got to say what I'm going to tell you to say, and you get your immunity. In 2009, she was paid money for that interview, for that documentary that she did. They paid her. And I'm telling you right now, man, if we're going to pay you, Tana, I'm going to pay you to tell me how you did this. Well, I went like this, Brian, and I did this. And no. I need you to say that you took acid and did this. Well, I didn't take acid. I don't care. I'm paying you money. I'm paying you $10,000 to say that you took acid. You understand?
Yeah, but she's kind of extensive. I mean, when you read the trial transcripts of the Tex trial, they get all into that.
I'm talking about the 2009 documentary.
Well, yeah.
That's why in media, that's why in journalism, we don't pay for interviews. Do you understand that? That's why.
Because then you get the results that you pay for.
Then you get the results that you pay for. That's why you don't pay for interviews. I've never paid for an interview, ever. But if you pay for interviews, you get what you pay for. Or you don't pay them. If they wanted to say, oh, we got to make you look sympathetic, therefore we're going to say you took acid, here you go, take a tab. I don't believe it. It was never brought out in any of the transcripts. It was never brought out before 2009. So I don't believe it. It's like the little black book Charlie mentions, right? Charlie mentions the little black book to Geraldo in 1988. He never mentioned it before then. Never anywhere does he talk about the little black book. Until Geraldo, that's the first I heard it anyway. Then he mentioned it again in the Ronald Reagan Jr. interview in the 90, whatever year that was, 92 or something, whatever year that was. Then he mentioned it, I think, again with the Scanlon Murphy interview. 94. After that, you don't hear about the little black book anymore. Don't mention it. Is it a red herring? Maybe. Is it true? Maybe. Go talk to Grillo. What's his name? Forget his first name. The business,
I don't remember.
yeah, the business manager. The business manager for the Beach Boys, Mr. Grillo. That's supposedly who the confrontation was with between Charlie and Mr. Grillo. Go talk to Mr. Grillo. See if he confirms it.
I think this is a little different though, because we've got a history of. I mean, you've seen the article. She was arrested. She didn't she give testimony against other defendants in Boston?
You know what?
In a different trial.
Let me tell you. Here's what she was arrested for. In that very case, she wasn't drug dealing then. She was just there.
Can you believe that?
Go read the article.
Do you know how many times she was arrested for just being there when she was underage? They go through it pretty extensively in the test trial. It's over and over and over again.
Mary Poppins, thank you. Nick Grillo. Thank you. Nick Grillo is the man.
Nick Grillo.
What'd you say, Tana? She was arrested over and over again, huh? How many times? Do you know? I'm not doubting you. I'm asking legit. Did they ever mention how many times over and over?
Well, it was in San Francisco. She got arrested for being in the presence of drug dealing, but she was underage, so they let her go. And then it was like twice in Boston.
So in other words, she's got a boy. So she's got a boyfriend that deals drugs, and she's always there, right? That's basically what that tells me.
But it was different people every time.
So she hangs around a bunch of drug dealers
and bikers, because she's hanging out with bikers in Boston.
All right. Fair enough. I believe that. I believe it. Maybe she was drug dealing. I don't know. Maybe you're right. The particular case I read about in Boston was the reason she was arrested because she was underage and she was there. That's all.
God, don't you wish it was back then? I mean, well, I guess maybe not. But like if you were a kid right now, right, and you were 17 and you got busted, you would get busted like an adult.
I know.
And back then, oh, I'm a minor. Okay, here, we're just going to send you home then.
Right. Yeah, the time to be drug dealing, I guess, was back then.
When they had party lines.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, baby. You know it. That's right. So I don't know, man. Maybe she was, maybe she wasn't. But the case that I read about in Boston, she was just merely arrested for being there and underage. Nothing about her being the drug dealer. And all I can tell you is this. I've been in I hate to say this, but I have been in places where they were dealing, but I wasn't dealing. I was buying.
I mean, when she
doling it out.
When she sold that 5,000, she also got that pouch of acid that they buried, right? That she took back from Boston.
Yeah.
Why are they burying drugs if she's not?
Because she wanted to stash them
for no reason.
No, you stash it so it's not long. It's not. You never stash drugs anywhere.
I have never personally buried drugs in my yard. No, I haven't.
Happens all the time.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. Okay, whatever you say.
People bury drugs all the time.
Yeah.
I often go out digging. Right. I often go out digging random places myself just to see where.
Just in case somebody's
just in case I can find a pouch myself.
God.
In fact, I wouldn't mind a good old pouch of acid right about now. I think I might go out digging tonight.
God, now I have this mental picture of you with like a metal detector, right?
Yes, you know what? They usually tie them with those little bread ties.
Yeah.
And those bread ties have a piece of metal in them, so it always goes off when I come across a big pouch of LSD. Oh my gosh, I don't know. But anyway, there's our presentation.
So one more little thing that I noticed that I wanted to just bring up really fast, and I was looking at Gerritson's testimony today in the text trial.
Uh-huh.
There's something that's very odd, and I'm not sure that I want to read too much into it, but when Bugliosi asks him if he's ever seen Peck, Atkins, Krenwinkel, or Manson before, he says no, but he never once asked Gerritson if he's ever seen Linda before the murders. He just leaves her out of it.
Interesting. That is interesting.
Yeah. So
that's a great little piece of tidbit because, again, here is Bugs, for whatever reason, protecting Linda. Now, does he know something that we don't know? Maybe.
everyone knows you store drugs in the boat in the driveway, but not in the street, right? But not in the street.
Oh, shit. You the man, Hunter. You the man.
Seriously, that's so funny.
That's great.
Wow.
That's great. All right, man. That's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much what we have. That's our new information. I hope we delivered. I hope we backed up what did Tana say? What did you say, Tana?
Oh, in the text trail, Bug asked Garrettson if he's ever, before the murders, if he's ever seen Tex, Manson, Krenwinkel, or Atkins, but he never asked him if he's never ever seen Linda before. So
I'll tell you why that stands out to me.
I hope they heard that. I hope you guys heard that one better this time.
Yeah, in case you didn't hear that, Bugs asked Garrettson if he's ever seen Tex, Pat, Krenwinkel, Susan. Ever seen them before? Garrettson says no. But he never asked Garrettson if he had seen Linda before.
Right.
I'll tell you why that stands out to me. Because go to the next night, Linda knew Harold True independent from Manson and the girls, right?
Right.
She knew True on her own, independently from Manson and the girls. So therefore, you could almost speculate, well, it wouldn't be too far of a reach that maybe she knew somebody at Cielo independently from Manson and the girls, or Tex and the girls. That's all. Right?
Right.
So there you go.
And as far as further is, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm just saying that's why I think that's significant.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That's a good point, Tana. You've got so much of these little tidbits that are just damn good.
I just notice it.
I know you do. Like you noticed this box tonight with the wire and stuff. Great. I don't know. Great observation. I don't know what else to say. Fantastic. So anyway, that's our presentation. I hope that we delivered when I said that we were going to bring you something brand new that's never been. I've never seen this brought out anywhere else. I'll tell you that.
Right.
Never heard anybody else talking about it. Linda was trying to call. You caught that, Mark Boland. That's good. I don't know who that was. I was almost afraid to find out. You guys stop talking about the goddamn box, damn it. I'm telling you right now, we're coming after you. Oh, I love it.
Some people really think that way, and you know who I'm talking about.
I know, man. Hey, William Kane, thank you, man. Look at him hanging out across the pond over there in England, hanging out with us until 4 a.m. By God, that deserves a ding, baby. Thank you, William. Thank you to all of our friends across the pond, across the old globe itself over there. I mean, we've got listeners in Germany. We've got listeners in Australia. We've got listeners in England. We got them all over the place. And we appreciate it very much. You TLBers are great. That's why we do this, because with our input and your input, we may somehow come to the end of this some point. I don't know, maybe not. I like to think that, but maybe not. But we try. Anyway, great job, Tona Laufenberg. Great job tonight. I got to give you another round of applause. You've done fantastic, man. And once again, everybody, don't forget the book coming out. The Defense Never Rested. Charles Manson on Trial by our very own Tona Laufenberg right here. Go to Amazon. There's the link on this very YouTube page that you can go and pre-order this book for $5.33.
Symbolically.
Symbolically, I should say. No, that's a good. You're right. Symbolically, it was for you people, the TLBers, and our 5.5 hour marathon that turned out to be a great. I couldn't believe it. A great program. It got great reviews. So there you go. $5.33 coming out on November 7th on Saturday. I can't wait. We'll be talking about that next week. Damn, you're a good girl. You're good. Proud of you.
Not as good as you.
No,
not as good as everybody. Not as good as all of the TLB.
You're even better, man. Fantastic. I want to thank everybody for chiming in tonight. Input has been great. Your questions are always great. Jarius, Jesse, Greg G, our friend John Michael, Angie 70, Kelly Bose, Andrea. That's too many people to name, but Sandra Miller, Amy Wilkins, Mark Boland. The hits just keep on rolling. Every week. Right here. Oh, Hunter Laney for the funny. Hits just keep on rolling right here every week, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Join us again next week when we'll be back to do it again. She's Tana Laufenberg. I'm Brian Davis. This is the Tate LaBianca radio program. Good night, everybody.
We'll do it live.
Okay.
No. We'll do it live. Fuck it.
TLB Radio.